Beautiful people, welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That is your girl, Adara.
It is.
And I'm Sharif.
Yes.
And we're going to wait everyone to come on over from the other stream. We have the Chilean Nightmare on the ones and twos today, so it's a little different entering because Ramram usually has a different way. What's up, Scott H? Giddy up to you too, sir. Aaron and Joanna Brewster, is there a war news or something? I have no idea. We'll have to look in a second. Easy Trader, Robbie V, Christopher Holcomb, Picky Eater as well. Dude Rocks 420, he'd be rocking up a storm. Saul G, the Pawns, the Fawns, Adam DeLuce, what's up, my man? Ronald, hi, Sharif, hi to you as well, my man. And he says hi to you as well. Royal, Dixon, Blue Arrow, PC, we got Glenn Smith as well as Big Michael Lloyd. Welcome back, my man. Been a hot minute since I've seen you in the chat. Who else we got in there? We got Blue Baron. We got Alex Davis as well, Ram. He's joined us as well. Blind Leader, Richard Fan, as well as Mark Lore, Cass M, Blue Chew. Not you in the chat, Blue Chew. Where did you come from? I thought we the ad was already over with Blue Chew. Right? He's in the chat.
I chew, Blue Chew. We all chew for Blue Chew.
All right. Good morning, Adair. How's it going?
I'm doing like fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. What's going on that side of the desk? I'm just hearing way too much. I'm all right, keeping an eye on these markets today. We just broke through 19,300, zigging and zagging on it. 19.3 was the high of the day prior to the close yesterday. So I've got my eyes plastered on this level, but it doesn't look like there's any bid right here.
Yeah, so I've already had two trades. I actually had a weird epiphany when I was at the big desk that I want to talk about because I'm going to talk about it after we do lessons, reads, etc. But I think this is. It kind of was really weird, but I feel like it's helped my trading, so we're going to talk about that in a moment. I've had two trades today, both successful, both shorts on Mag 7 names. Like I said, this is a bit of a preamble to my larger amble that will be happening in a bit, but one thing that I noticed yesterday was I was not, I wasn't scalping these Mag 7 names. I had trades that went against me that didn't have to because I was like, oh, that's fine. I have levels. I have to stick to my plan. So definitely didn't do that. The second I saw stuff I didn't like, got out. Amazon took, I want to say 10, 15 pennies. Not the largest trade in the world, but it's about the process that I'm working on. Tesla, Sharif heard me. I was ready to go long Tesla 225 because we bounced a bit. We couldn't hold that. I got short, got out, got back to 224s. Looks like we're trying to hold 224s. Tesla, you want to break down below? I'll short you again. Really excited to dive in because I feel like this has hopefully been a bit of an epiphany-ish moment for me in my trading. But yeah, what are you looking at before?
Just looking at the news because people were asking, but I'm not looking at anything quite yet, just kind of sitting on my hands. Let's get to the lesson du jour. We are talking about gap fills all day long today. No specific gap type. Like yesterday, we didn't talk about specific gap type. We talked about measuring those gaps. Today, we'll talk about the gaps getting filled, what that means, and how to analyze it from a technical analysis perspective. So traders, today we delve into the phenomenon of gap filling. While not every gap is filled, understanding the concept is crucial for effective technical analysis, so we'll have to keep tabs on that. And I don't understand why it just keeps going away there. We have the read. What time, Fabian?
I'm ready to go.
Go ahead.
Perfect. We are brought to you by PIA.com VPN. Trading on public Wi-Fi is risky because your data is vulnerable. It's like sharing secrets in a group chat. Like we all know how that's it. Private Internet Access, or PIA VPN, it'll secure your connection with encryption, creating a safe tunnel for your data. Trade confidently from airports, coffee shops, or hotels without worrying about hackers. PIA also lets you bypass geo-restrictions, accessing trading platforms from over 91 countries and all 50 U.S. states. Protect your trading with PIA. Get 83% off, just $2.03 a month, plus 4 extra months free. Sign up now with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 support. Rated excellent on Trustpilot. Also, guys, I'm going to be looking for some, if there is any news on that, I'm going to keep my eye on that. Put it in the chat if I see anything, so keep an eye on that. But lesson time. Thank you,
Sounds good, Adara. Thank you for that. So, what is gap filling essentially? So gap filling occurs when the price of a security retraces to fill that void that was created by the previous gap. So usually what happens is you have a closing price of yesterday, you have an opening price today, and if they're fundamentally different, if there's a big space between the closing price and the opening price, it's going to be reflected on the chart as a gap. So it's as if the market is correcting essentially an imbalance and restoring equilibrium. That's said to be what's happening really when the gap gets filled. And here we go. One of the most common types of gaps to get filled, yeah, it is a common gap. And these gaps usually, you know, they could be movements overnight, something that the market initially liked and then maybe digested it later and said, yeah, this is not as bullish as I think, so you end up filling the gap. Or it could be a sympathy play moving with another stock that actually had the catalyst, so the sympathy name ends up getting filled. But this is kind of what we see here. These common gaps, as we discussed last week, they zig and they zag. They're not breaking through any key area of technical resistance or support, and they often get filled quite quickly. So this is kind of how the gap will look if it gets filled. We gap up, few 4 or 5 candles later, we're gone. We fill the gap. I'm not sure what's doing. Here we go. And basically the reason I want to show you this is not just common gaps get filled, but exhaustion gaps get filled as well. They're the more likely gap to get filled, but we'll talk about that in a minute here. So let's talk about the different types of gaps and what the likelihood of them getting filled are. As I mentioned, common gaps, these are the most likely of the gap types to get filled, as they often represent only temporary imbalances in the buyer-seller supply-demand chain. Breakaway gaps, these are the least likely to get filled. They are less likely than others. Doesn't mean that they're not going to get filled, but the reason that they're less likely is because they're breaking through a key area of technical resistance or support, depending on whether you're gapping up or down. And basically, when you break through that area, unless there's something really existential, usually you trend a little bit that area. That's not a hard and fast rule, but they are less likely to get filled, these breakaway gaps. Exhaustion gaps, typically not as common to get filled as common gaps, but they do get filled as well, just given their nature, their exhaustion. They're at the end of the trend. So if they're at the end of the trend, you have one or two things. You can consolidate near the highs, or you can trend back and fill the gap. So exhaustion gaps, the second most likely type of gap to get filled. And the reasons for gap filling, well, there's many, but we'll talk about a few of them today. Market correction, first and foremost. After a rapid price movement, the market often undergoes a correction to rebalance that supply and demand curve that we talked about. But there's also profit taking, right? You're at these highs, especially with regards to exhaustion gaps. Traders see there's a whole lot of money left still on the table that they haven't profited from. So you get beak wetting at these levels. So traders who enter positions after the gap might take profits as the price retraces. And institutional rebalancing as well. Large institutional investors may look to rebalance their portfolios, leading to price movements that fill the gaps. So multiple reasons. These are just some of the few. So how do you identify potential gap fills? Well, not every gap will fill. Certain indicators, you know, that you can be on the lookout for can suggest a higher probability of a gap fill. Gap size, first and foremost, of those indicators. The smaller gaps are more likely to get filled than the larger gaps. And you're going to say, Sharif, well, what the hell do I know? Small, large, how do I know this is big or small? Well, that's what we talked about yesterday. It's incumbent upon you, if you see a gap on a particular instrument, to go back and to look to see, are the gaps that happen on this instrument as large, larger, smaller? What are they dollar-wise? What are they percentage-wise versus the gap that I'm looking at now? That's what we made the case for gap comparisons yesterday. That's going to feature today as well. So you got to have a look at gap size. Again, smaller gaps more likely to get filled than larger ones. Volume as well, quite telling here. Low trading volume, during the gap formation can increase the likelihood of a gap fill. So you always have to see whether the volume printing on the gap fill is above average. And above average requires you to look at the volume bars made by that specific instrument in the past. The trend strength, also indicative here, a weakening trend. For example, the aggression, the degrees at which it's rising. If it's starting to weaken and you're at a 45-degree angle, now you're only like at 15, this can also increase the probability of a gap fill. And gaps occurring at key areas of support and resistance also are more likely to reject and get filled than the ones breaking out above it. For example, if we had a gap at, for say, 195 on Apple, it gaps up to 199. Well, it's at that 200 level on Apple that we rejected for months and years at a time. And so if it gaps up to there, it doesn't clear that 200 level, more likely than not, or higher chances that that 190 ends up getting, or that 195 ends up getting filled. So gaps occurring at key areas of support and resistance that don't breach them on a closing basis, more likely to be filled. I don't know what's going on with this thing today, Adara. I don't know what the hell's going on over here.
It's in a mood.
It is. Trading gap fills? I don't know what happened to my thing here. Okay, so I'll have to send it to you because I'm missing one slide. All right, well, the market's bouncing, so you want to have a look at that for a second?
Yeah, for sure, it is bouncing, but I definitely want to talk about that. Also, so I put this in the chat. This came out a while ago, and there wasn't a huge market reaction at the time that I saw it, so I didn't say anything about it at the time, but yeah, so this coming out here. Axios reporting that Netanyahu is set to talk to Biden about escalation in the Middle East. We also had a Hezbollah leader saying that the battle with Israel has entered, quote, a new phase, and that Israel, quote, crossed red lines with its most recent strikes. So just, again, some updates here with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. But those, again, did come out a little bit before we got that move down in the market. So just we'll look at that. We do have Dan Emmons saying he's closing all shorts now at the 19,280. We have the Qs here. We had a bit of a downtrend, trying to find a bit of a base here at 465. This is a look we've seen mirrored in some of the Mag 7 names as well. Nvidia having a bit of a double bottom over here. So let's see if we can build that. Yeah, bit of a support here at 113 on the 5-minute chart. A lot of them coming as well into whole dollar support. Tesla finding support at the 224 area. So some whole dollar support and some bounces found on these Mag 7 names as we bounce in the whole market. What else? Yeah, I mean, even Moderna kind of trying to curl up here, AMD, a lot of these names that are in the NQ trying to bounce. The SPY, though, I would say looks a little bit less trampoline-esque than the Qs. The Qs, we had that nice little bounce there, as I showed you in the Mag 7s, getting a bit of a bounce too. And meanwhile, we have the SPY, which is still a little bit subdued, especially when compared to what we're seeing in these Mag 7 and the Qs here. Two topping tail candles, but much like the Qs and some of these Mag 7s, hanging out here around a whole dollar area of support. So SPY at 546 could be interesting here. But we did see two topping tail candles before our last drop, so just be aware. Looks like we're trying to have a bit of a recovery, but I would still like to see a little bit more evidence. Tesla looking strong, Nvidia looking strong, Qs are looking a bit stronger here as well, but the SPY, I think, needs to take a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that slide went, so I'll put it, I guess I'll do it for the next one around. So we're done the lesson for now. There was one more slide just about how to basically trade some of these gaps, but to be quite honest with you, I think that that's probably more trouble than it's beneficial. So let's get to the, not the lessons, but the side charts over here. I have a bunch of different names on, a few small cap gappers. There's not much because really, it's not really small cap gapper time at the moment. This is big boy time with these Mag 7 names and some of these other NASDAQ names. But I've got AMD on still. AMD continues to bleed. It's like literally giving back the entire move after earnings down into 136. This thing hasn't breached the 10 exponential on the 5 all day. So it's been down and to the right with really no relief at all for buyers. BBLG, this one is a small cap gapper. I saw Tisha talking about this one in the morning. Shout out to Tisha Perkins, loves to trade her small cap gappers. This one, though, up 38%, but down about 18 4/5 since the bell's rung. A bit of a double top there at 370. Now, it's basically holding this area of support at 290, and this 290 area was a pre-market high. Look at that crest that we put in, ironically enough, at 4:30 a.m., but it's still respecting that level almost to the penny. So 290-ish area, which is the low of day, still holding. But look at this, lower highs and rejecting the 10. I think it's just a matter of time till the flat bottom break comes in on that 290 aggressively to the downside. We'll have to see how far that can get going. But this absolutely moved yesterday in the afternoon time, 1:30. I guess a news catalyst came in, and then up and to the right we went with this one, and it continued in the pre-market as well. So BBLG on watch. CWAN, not a big percentage winner on the day, 16 4/5, but up and to the right, not breaching the 10. Very light on volume. Be careful about this one. CWAN. The one that I've got my eye on, though, is EXAS. What is going on here? I mean, you haven't even had a breach of the 10 on the 5-minute chart in, well, basically 9:45. So I said to myself, this looks like the best of the bunch. Let's look at it on the single chart screen. Why? Because I got all my different indicators on there. Now, I'm trying to adopt a new rule where I do not trade these small cap gappers if The MACD line is not above the signal line. A lot of small cap gapper traders use MACD on a smaller time frame to gauge whether or not it's the right time to get into these smaller names. So right now I'm not liking what I see, but on the other side of the coin, I'm loving what I see in terms of the price action, because it keeps holding up above that 10. Every single dip is held up. It's a bit spready, so you're going to have a resting order likely to get into this. Otherwise, you're going to have to chase it. But that $57 keeps coming in over and over and over, $56.99, high of day, and it's not budging. So EXAS, definitely on watch for me. Boeing looks awfully similar to the chart on AMD. They are very similar in percentage retracements as well, 5.07 for an AMD, 5.37 for Boeing. And now we are lower than yesterday's low on Boeing, despite the earnings miss coming in yesterday, and a nice little bump up there, but that double top at 197 was, oof, that's nice. And then down to the right we go. We make new lows today, 180 incoming. In fact, 180.02 is the LOD. Is that a previous area of interest here? Let's have a look at this 180 area. Not really. I mean, it's been breached multiple times, and it's been breached recently, so I'm less inclined to use anything off that 180 for Boeing. Last but not least, keeping my eye on CrowdStrike, obviously, as it continues to reel from the troubles that it has there.
Yeah, shout out to my man Kelly O there with Boeing.
I'm going to start calling him your boyfriend.
Let's not do that. But yeah, so yeah, okay, I'm gonna go to the SPY short. Basically, I was long the SPY. Why was I long the SPY? We had that 547. I like whole dollar areas in the SPY. We held it. We're holding it. I got long. We got to an area I didn't like in the book. I got out. I want to clarify as well, and this is where I lead to my whole, I said preamble for the larger amble time. So basically, I was up at the big desk, and I was randomly thinking, shout out, I think it was Quantran in the chat yesterday, saying that, if you don't plan your trades, things can go awry. And I said yesterday, I agree with that, but I find for myself, sometimes I get too trapped in the plan, and that's where I make mistakes. And that's absolutely what happened yesterday. I did say this at the end of the day yesterday. I got shut down, and I would say a larger issue with a lot of those trades where I had some trades that were in the money, and I didn't take profit because I was like, but that's not the plan, you're waiting. But the book was telling me leave. So why was I doing that? So then I randomly realized, you know what that reminds me of? Jazz piano. Let me explain this mental tangent. So as a pianist, I've talked about this, I play piano. Why I love jazz piano is it's really freeing. You have your general levels, right? You've got your key signatures, your time signatures, but other than that, you're just hanging out with an ensemble. You're playing, you guys are vibing together. It's a good time, and I feel like my jazz ensemble could be these markets. So long story short, I'm trying to approach the markets like it's a jazz band, like it's a jazz song. If something feels a little bit awry, maybe you have to cut the song off early. Having general rules, but not getting too caught up, and trying not to get lost in the sauce by moving with the sauce, by moving as the horns, flute in there, you got the drums changing up. Anyways, weird analogy aside, I figure as someone who I find I connect strongly to music helps me understand things. I'm going to use this jazz analogy to hopefully impact my trading for the better. I literally wrote almost a page worth of random notes on this, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of the analogy because I have a feeling it will make no sense if you are not a pianist, though I might pepper in some of it later. But Tesla coming to the 9 EMA, so we'll have to see if I want to play some piano for this one. I want to see this 9 EMA bounce. Like I said, though, with Tesla, for me, it's going to always be led by what I see on the book, and then what I see in the chart confirms that, I like that. Now, I've talked as well about Tesla having certain penny levels that it finds interesting. Earlier this week, it liked the 20-cent level. Yesterday, it loved the 30-cent level, and today, it's like, hey, Adara, 30 cents might be the level again. By that, I mean, we'll get to 30 cents, we'll test, we'll retest, and then we break out from 30 cents. So that's what I want to keep an eye on here. We're now having some rejection off that 30 level, but if we get back to 225.30s and we hold, somebody's going long. If we actually reject 225.30s, I shall go short. Thank you to Dan Emmons for saying that's a perfect analogy. I really appreciate that. You have to figure out what works for you, right? No two traders are alike, no two snowflakes are alike, and your approach to the market is always going to be a bit different depending on who you are and how you trade. But if you want to help get your trades better because you want to have access to their news, shout out to our sponsors.
Are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on those big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everybody else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Shout out to Benzinger Pro, always doing the absolute most in a good way. So I'm looking on a couple of trades here. I've got a dip trade set up on EXAS, Fabian, right at 56.60, which is a 10 exponential on the 5. This one did breach 57, putting in a bit of a topping tail candle. Now it's been respecting that 10 exponential 10 EMA on the 5-minute chart all day, save and except for a couple of outlying candles at 940 and 945. The other trade that I've got set up, I'm looking to short CrowdStrike at the volume weighted average price. This one has been rejecting VWAP basically all morning. So if we weasel our way up there, I've got my resting order there, but it looks like it is having trouble breaching that 227 area, at least on a closing basis. So maybe do not get filled as this one continues to show weakness. Boeing continuing to go down, trying to figure out a way into this one, but it's really not coming into the 10 at all. This is Boeing's look right over here. I mean, it's just been one symphony of red candles, none of them really touching the 10 exponentials, so not giving me my opportunity in. I'm keeping an eye on Pfizer as well because it's a holdover from yesterday. It's coming in to this key area of 55. This is yesterday's closing print. I want to see what it does in and around here. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
I mean, we're still short 140 AMD, but it almost took out that 137. We're going to watch out.
The Katina man is still short 140 on AMD, but it almost took out 137.50, so he's keeping an eye on it, you know, just in case it retraces. So if you're following along with the Katina man's trade, keep your eye out on more Trader TV, guys, because that's where you're going to be able to see his position, Neil's position, all the day's headlines, all the news events. There it is right there, your daily stories. Well, that's the watch list, but you guys know what I mean. So keep your eye on that. Still not getting filled on crowd, still waiting for that bad boy to come in. It doesn't look like EXAS is coming back because now the volume is starting to pick up and it's really breaching that $57 level. It looks like it's on its way to 58, 57, 59. This thing is up into the dang right, but CWAN, don't forget about that one. Awfully looking good chart too. CWAN, I don't know what happened to my chart. I don't know what's going on today, so I'm gonna have to load that, send it to you.
Yeah, no worries. If you have any charts you're looking at, whether it's C1, maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's XAS, whatever you want to look at, you guys need to get, maybe you want to access some analysis on XAS. Well, how do you do that? Get in the chat, exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. Maybe, yes, I said that way on purpose. Maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's Gimme, I don't know. But whatever you want to get involved in, exclamation point, join space, $, that ticker in there. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for everything you do, but also for your help, making sure everybody's voices get heard. It's like the person who helps out with the voting booths. Also, Tesla coming to my area. Yes.
Get it,
yes,
get it,
I got short 225, took 20 pennies on half the trade, 40 pennies in the rest of the trade. But now we're coming back here. And the reason I got out where I did too, A, like I said, book led, but B, look at that area earlier, that 224.50. I knew that was going to be a level, so I wanted to be prepared for that. I'm actually going to start building this position here. And it's going to be less shares because I want to be able to build into it. But I actually really want the smoke on Tesla. Like, I want the smoke on Tesla. I want to get the, no one smokes like that, but no one like slurps on cigarettes or whatever. But let's see what we do here in Tesla. I want 31s. I don't think I'm going to get 31s. You know what? If I have to get 35s, I'll take it. I'm willing to make a bit of a compromise because this is a level I like. Playing some jazz piano here with Tesla. Profit target wise, I'm going to start to see what we do here around 226. As always, or as what, like I said, what I'm trying to do, especially with these Meg 7 stocks, my exit is going to be led and guided by what we do on the book. If we break below 225s, that's going to be a definite no-go for me. If we get to 225s and bounce a bit, I'm willing to add. I have enough shares that I can piece stuff out, but it's not a massive position because, like I said, you got to go with the flow. You got to go with, be vibes, be smooth, figure out what's going on here. Tesla, trying to come back to this 225. I would like to see a bounce. If I do not see a bounce, I will be bouncing out of Tesla. But either way, I'm happy I took the trade because I had a reason for it. I had levels I liked. Tesla come back to 225. If you can get back up here, I am okay with staying in you. Let's see how this Tesla does. CrowdStrike. I also still have this one in my side chart. I want to show it to Sharif who mentioned this one. I like CrowdStrike actually around this level here, this 226.50, because we've had some waffling there. We have generally lower highs and lower lows in our PAL-T CrowdStrike, but we're kind of now hanging out around the 9 EMA. Tesla getting back to 225, so I'm going to have to get out of this because it looks like this was not my time in the sun for Tesla, but that doesn't mean that time will never come. It just means that right now that jazz song has come to an end. Got to find a new ensemble, play some more music, and get right back in that stock. I will be using this analogy pretty heavily. But yeah, CrowdStrike, I like when you used to say on CrowdStrike waiting for the VWAP bounce, because I like the the VWAP projection, because that level is like, that 228.50 is dope. But yeah, watching that, what are you guys looking at I'm honestly, guys, I'm not that caffeinated. The markets give me all my energy. I always am like, oh, I want to try to talk slower, and then I try, and then things move. So good times. I love this high energy that this market gives us, because as Shauna said, you know, if you're not high energy, if you don't love these markets, like, so you want to have that love for the markets. Microsoft, I saw some mentions of in the chat. Microsoft getting interesting here around. I know Neil started at 420, so let's see if Microsoft can get that green there at 420. But right now, kind of near that pre-market low. This is earnings from yesterday. I also want to shout out Darwin in the chat had mentioned Apple being a long. He said he wasn't going to get involved, but he was leaning long on Apple. You'd be right. This was a while ago, and Apple has had a steady uptrend from that point. I had a level on Apple. I liked that 224.20 to 224.50 pre-market range. Then we come down, reject it, and look where we reject off again, 224.20. So if that level comes back, Apple, if you come back to 224.20, which I doubt you will today, unless miracles happen, I would love to trade you there. But it's a level I'll watch for earnings regardless. Also, these wicks into the 90 MA are interesting. So the Apple did get a bounce, but we'll have to see if it holds that bounce. Apple's one I'm a little bit more hesitant to trade because I find I don't read it the best, especially since it stopped being the dead one. But yeah, welcome Apple. We're gonna have to see if you live or thrive or die when you have your earnings report. 220.50. As I say that, I do like Apple 220.50. Keeping eyes on it. Tesla's still waffling around 225. Eyes on it. Not trading until I see another thing to strike here. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not seeing anything that I like yet. I'm looking at AVGO right now. At 154, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. It keeps rejecting this 154 area. It does weasel up into 154.50. So I'm trying to get a bit of a better price in and around there. So let's see, 154. Let's go 35s. Maybe we can get in something like that. And then if it breaks 50, it hasn't on the previous occasion, so we can get out there. I'm at a loss for stuff, I got to tell you. I'm looking around. Everything's down and to the right, but nothing is coming in to a 10 exponential for me to get short. I mean, that's just how I trade. I'm still waiting on crowd, still waiting on EXAS. I see you guys there saying ASTS, not EXAS, ASTS. Yeah, I don't think this one is doing that well. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so we'll just leave that one be for a second. Let's check out on AVGO. Nothing coming in here. Yeah, that's really it. Everything rejecting off or below the 10 exponential. Like Nvidia's at it, Tesla's at it, Apple's at it right here. Then you're getting Meta below, Amazon below, Softy's not even close. And Goggles, for whatever reason, has a buyer at 171.
Oh, no, it's gone now. Neil was playing golf.
He's with, oh yeah, because he's on crutches. That's funny.
Meanwhile, I went short Amazon.
The Katina man is short Amazon at 186.30. So shout out to him. Yeah, he's in the money there. It's going to break 186. But I did like your Tesla trade. All right, here we go. AVGO just coming down. It's not letting me in at all. So I should have just got into that. That's just kind of how my day's been. I haven't really taken anything yet. Not positive or negative, just not in anything. Continuing to look around for something, but nothing's coming into my levels. EXAS continuing to leave, so this trade is no longer valid right here for waiting for that 56.60 dip to come in. This thing's just up and to the dang right. So throw some stocks you guys are looking at. I'm seeing Nvidia reject here. I'm seeing Tesla zig and zag here at 25. Amazon went down. It did break 186. So shout out to the Katina man. Adara printed too. I want to hear all about that. But yeah, I'm not in anything yet. Continuing to watch. Hopefully I'll be in something soon.
Yeah, I wanted, because it's funny, as you said, Tesla zig and zag, I was literally like, that's what I've been trying to play. There is, it's not a range, it's a chop and churn, and maybe it's like, that's a decision to trade. That's fair. But it worked out for me here. I did take, wow, Dara, math fast, tired. 30 pennies on half my position, 20 pennies on the other half. I got longer because I've been watching the book. Like I said with Tesla, the book is my guide. That is always going to be my, the main impetus for the trade. And the chart is going to be the background music, right? The little like tinkering in the background that helps me decide if this is really a good idea. And with that in mind, I also, because I scalp, have the 1 minute on my side chart and I trade off the 5 minute because I like to have a more comprehensive picture. Also, when I was looking at my Tesla trades from yesterday, when I did my screenshotting for my aggressive journaling, I looked at the 1 minute chart and was like, Adara, there were some trades you would not have made had you looked at that 1 minute chart. So that's besides the point. I got long here because I was watching the book and we had higher lows. I said, let's say we do 225. Last time we got to 225, we get rejecting here all the way down to 224.50. Then we get 224.76. This time we again get to 224.80s. We hold, I say, Adara, as long as we see stuff we like in the book, you stay in this trade. Tried to scalp it out heading into 225. I was willing to add and subtract. Didn't have to. We get to 225. We hold above 225. I notice we're a little bit weaker as we get to 225.10s. So I get long that, or I get out, sorry, of the trade. That being said, I'm actually leaning short Tesla here now, and I'll tell you why. As Sharif said, below the 9 or 10 EMA, whichever one you choose, they are, we've compared and contrasted, and they're pretty similar. But the thing with Tesla is even though you do have these lower, these higher lows on the book and the chart, to be sure, you also have lower highs, and we're really struggling with that 225.30. I'm leaning short right now because I think again, we're below the 9 EMA. I would say the balance, the evidence is telling me that my verdict on this is a short, unless and until we can eclipse 225.30. That being said, with these higher lows, we just made another one here in the book. With these 225 breakdowns, I honestly think if we break up, it could be a massive move. I'm not doing anything with Tesla until I see us get below 224.50 or above 225.30 in a decisive way. That is my verdict on that. Sorry, I had to do it again. But yeah, if you have any stocks you have verdicts on, or you want to know what the Katina Man and Neil's verdicts would be, you get in that chat. Exclamation point join, space, $, whatever ticker you fancy. Maybe it's Google, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's Meta, maybe it's Carvana, maybe you want to go beep beep with that one and see how that's going. Whatever ticker you're interested in, get involved. Before I throw to Sharif, I just saw this comment from Trader Forever. Snow, yikes. So Snowflake, how are you? Is this one getting a little flaky? Let's find out. Shout out to Netflix, as OB calls Netflix. But Snowflake, which, oh, that's yuck. Yeah, I have no words on this chart. My only word is yuck, because unfortunately, just lower highs, lower lows. There's no recovery. There is no safety. This snow is melting to the downside. That's not snow anymore, Sharif. That's water flakes. How are you doing in that?
Yeah, I took it out, but I have a little bit over here. I'm trying to get, oh God, come on. Yeah, well, that's the DC. I took 25 pennies, but I'm out of the money on the little bit that I have left. I'm trying to defend this area over here. This 418.5 is yesterday's closing print on the soft one. So I've basically taken everything out with like a baby amount, trying to get DCA'd, and there we go. Let's see if we can hold generally that 418 area. So we'll go 417, we'll go 88, and then we'll take out everything. It looks like it will stop me out. If it doesn't hold at these areas, we're long 33s. Let's see if we can get something out at the 50s or generally there. If we can able to get something out there, that would help alleviate some of the tension on this trade. But a break of 418 and a continued move down, that's going to be the end of my trade. Trying to defend this closing print on the soft one, but looking at the future, and the future continues to move down. So that's going to be a bit of trouble for me. As it weasels its way, though, closer to that $1/2 area. So we'll see if it can catch a little bit of a bid there. I'm also looking at some other names. DRMA just showed up on my scanner there. It's trying to get back into VWAP, but I'm going to try to nurse this Microsoft trade, see if we can wet our beak at around the $1/2, give or take, and get out of, no, well, not get out alive, do well, hopefully, on this trade. So packing my patience on this one. Looking at some other names, I'm seeing Tesla come down. Amazon is all the way down. Amazon's at day low right here. So lots of weakness on the Amazonian right now, but just trying to pack my patience with this MSFT trade, seeing if we can get a little bit here at the $1/2. We're about 15, 20 pennies out of the money at the moment now, break even, but basically looking for that move up. Get it, Adara. We don't have an ad reader.
That wasn't even a trade. I just jumped because Fabian went in my ear, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
But no, I wish I was jumping about a trade. So I continue.
I know, I hear you, Fabian. All right, so there we go. We get out of that trade. So we'll take a bit of a hit there on the Microsoft one. So 1 for 1. Looking for that next trade, but it's a short kind of day. I know everyone was saying they're getting out of their shorts, but right now, personally, I like these shorts on some of these names everything down into the right now. Well, in Mag 7 world anyway. Let's flip back to some of the other names we were looking at. CWAN continuing to go, but look at this. EXAS giving back a little bit here, so this was awfully strong. Let's see if it holds up at the 20. That's around 56 bucks. So let's weasel our way over on the EXAS. Which screen was it? There it is. So it's over here. I'm not going to have a resting order at the 20 exponential. It's going to have to prove it's holding up at this level. We do have this area hold right. Oh, there it is. We do have this area hold at 56. So there is price action support to justify a 56 dip trade. However, you know, maybe it doesn't hold up there. Maybe it comes into VWAP at 55.50. So I'd rather just wait a little bit to see exactly what I get to see if this one holds up. But EXAS looks awfully good at these levels with a big move up through 58 bucks. Let's see if we can weasel our way into a trade. What's the spread on it? It's about 10 pennies right now. So yeah, not exactly what you want to see. Actually, it's 20 pennies. I'm seeing 23 on the bid, 42 on the ask. So just about that 20 penny area, but it is holding up at this level. See if we can work our way in. No, we can't. So it's not letting me in, obviously, because of the spread. And there it goes, about like 50 pennies, a little bit higher. So let's see if we can get in a little bit on this one as it continues to go here. Is this the move here for EXAS? Do we get a nice little bounce up? Let's give it the old, oh, it's not letting me in. It just keeps going up and up and up without me. So, oh, there we go. Now we're filled. We're got 80s long, and now it just comes down a little bit. Let's see if we can de-risk a little bit over here. I'd like to add if we can get into that 56 area again, because it did defend quite well at that 20 exponential. So we'll pack our patience to see if we can get something in and around a bit of a better price there to defend that 56 penny area and the 20 exponential, Adara.
I would love to say I've been doing something other than staring at Tesla for the past few minutes, but I haven't. And that's because Tesla's shaking me up for something, and I'm not letting this off the hook. I said I wanted to see what Tesla did at 224.50s. We get below 224.50s, then we don't drop more. You're not getting, I don't even know if you're getting 20 pennies if you take that 224.50 scalp, but I know as someone who tried to take it. But keeping an eye on that. But right now, as Tesla decides what it would like to be when it grows up, and believe me, we will have more words on that after, first we're going to have some words for our sponsor, Stonks. Thank you so much to Stonks.com. Do you want a chance to win $1,000 every day? Wouldn't you? I would. Stonks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and it's actually like super easy to enter. All you have to do is predict the stock price after the earnings report. So today we're looking at Apple. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to stonks.com, sign up, and hit the make prediction button, and you could potentially win $1,000. It is that simple, okay? Each day you get one free ticket to predict, and if you want more chances, all you gotta do is share your referral link and get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com, don't miss out, and good luck, best of luck, bon chance there. You could be that little dude on the moon. You could be this little rocket man. Rocket man. All you have to do is just sign up for stonks.com. Tesla, as I was gonna say, I thought Tesla was holding interestingly at that 224.30. We were kind of peeling up here towards that 224.50 in a way that reminded me of those like early Nvidia breakouts when we just post-split. So I was thinking it would be a long. Clearly we broke below 30, so I'm incorrect about that. If we come back to 30s retest, I'm taking it short, risking, depending on what I see in the book, and into 50s. But man, Tesla, oh my gosh, Tesla, you want to break 224s? I'll take you short 224s, Tesla. Is that what you want? Oh my God, Tesla, tell me what you want. Okay, we're going to short 224s, Tesla. I don't think I'm going to get filled here. I want to wait and come back for a retest. I thought I'd be able to get into that a little bit more expeditiously. Shout out to T.I. who uses that word so much. And he says it way better because he has a cool like Atlanta accent, and I don't. But yeah, I like this Tesla breakdown. Clearly, I'm not getting involved in it. Happy I didn't watch it though, because you do learn a little bit. Obviously, you learn more from being in the trade, but I think being able to watch the book, the price action, and the movements has been really helpful for me. So I guess I'm doing the Cole Kinman clap. But good luck there. I'm not going to get this short, so I'm going to let Tesla run and wait for what happens here next. Also, shout out here to Chelsea Ashley saying, do you guys have sort of a time limit on trades? I feel like there's sometimes just not enough time for the market to come back to your level. I'm so confused. Yeah, I think valid question. We all trade on different timelines. I don't know if you're asking the chat or us, but I'll answer. I am a scalper. For me, for the most part. Otherwise, I'll have like, you know, certain trades for levels that I wanted to hit. So if I'm trading like a CrowdStrike, a Netflix, something that is a little bit spreadier or that has a bit more of a defined trend, I'll give it as much time as it needs to get to those levels. And then if it doesn't, I get out. But generally, I'm a scalper. When I'm in a scalp, like say on Tesla or SPY, that is all I'm looking at. If I'm in two, I'm looking at both of them at the same time. I'm like, oh, eyes on the back of my head and the side of my head. But I don't take my eye off it. My time frame is very contracted. But it really depends here on on the type of trader you are, because I think we all do trade a little bit differently. That's my food for thought there. A couple things to nibble on there with that regard. How are you doing over here?
Good. I fat fingered on EXAS, but it may have been the best thing I did. I was trying to actually set up a beak wetter, and I actually got out of the entire position, but it ended up turning down on me, so I'm kind of happy that I did that. I'm not really happy with this position I took on Apple. I'm trying to take a 220 defend, but I've got the wrong idea because everything just keeps going down and to the right, and I don't know why I didn't get stopped out there, but there we go. Everything heading down. Nothing is spared at these levels. It's just short, short, short from wherever it touches a 10 exponential. And I just need to wrap my mind around that because nothing is finding a bid on these markets. So we're just going to go ahead and punch short here and basically look to add into these short positions because there's a whole bunch of weakness on this market. So look to add whenever we do get the opportunity into the pops. So we'll see exactly what we can get there on AAPL. I'm also keeping my eye on this Amazon trade because it is coming down quite aggressively. It does seem to be a bit of a bidder though at the 417 area on the soft one. So we'll keep tabs on that. I just wet my beak there on Apple a little bit, but I'm going to look to add at that 220 should we come back into 220 again. So much do I like that level that I'm going to go ahead and sit over here to help defend the shorts at that level. So we'll see if we get somewhere up there, look to get a bit of a bigger position right now. Lots of different levels getting breached. 500 incoming on Meta. We have exactly 500 right now on META. Not like, you know, it's a new level or anything like that, but there is the possibility that it does find a bit of a bounce here. So spread is, you know, very, you know, obviously there's a lot of spread and right back up to 501 and a quarter, right into that 500 dip, right back into 501. So some buying coming in there. Someone could be a couple of bucks in the money here as this one really shot up. So keep your eye on META as it did get a nice little opportunity there, but we're still in the Apple short. Already wet my beak on some profits, but definitely looking for a little bit more. There does seem to be a buy around the $0.50 with that 51 area having been defended. I'm also seeing a hammer candle come in on Amazon and possibly Meta. Down goes Apple, making a new low of day 46, about 20 pennies in the money on this now. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. 43s, excuse me, was the low of the day. I'm just going to hold on to this one. Let's see if we can print on it a little bit more, but I would have definitely liked a little bit more size. Wow, that's 30 pennies there on Apple. We'll take that one out as that trade is done. Everything bleeding here, guys, except Amazon really finding a bit of a hammer candle off that 185. Sorry, I'm not showing it. Let me bring in the side chart real quick over here. AMZN did go into 185.01 in the same way that kind of met what Meta went into 500. Both got a little local bounce, but nothing sustained at the moment. Still red candles showing up on both charts, but both have a bit of bottoming tail. Apple continuing to bleed to the downside. Here comes 219. We took it out at 33s. Now it's at 22s. Look at this gnarly red candle. I was trying to defend 220. What was I thinking? Looking at that $10 level. You know, now that I think about it, obviously having lost on that initial trade, having thought about it, 220 was a level that came in a whole bunch of times recently. It's not like a new level or anything like that where there was going to be a whole bunch of buying. So mistake on my part there, not having been alive to that, but it's basically short anything that comes into the 10 exponential, at least on my look.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla was a little bit stronger here. I tried to short off that 293s, but my entry point was got short 220. 280, should have scalped it better, didn't. Ended up losing, getting out of 223.30s there, so losing 50 pennies. Not the vibe, not the vibe, but you know what is the vibe? Is getting back on the saddle, clip, 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 and keeping riding if you see things you like. In this case, Tesla now having this chop and turn around 223s, I was like, maybe it's a long, and you know what? I actually should have waited to exit because look at this. I switched to the 1 minute candle so you guys can see I got out. I got out that top we got there because I was looking for 30s. When we kind of had a bit of a bounce at 30s, I got out because, like I said, Tesla today and yesterday with that 30 penny level has been a bit spicy. If we keep rejecting, though, these 223s, and every time we've gotten back to 223s since, we've had lower highs, I'm going to start building a position here because, I know that's not normally how I trade Tesla. I want to be cognizant. I want to be listening to that jazz song, you know, see how those notes play out. But if we still seem kind of interesting here at 223s, I owe it to myself to get involved. I'm going to get involved 222.90s to feel good good about this trade. We're going to scalp some out if we get to 70s, which has kind of been about. Well, I haven't even gotten in. I appreciate it. I would like to get, once I get in.
I think you're misunderstanding what my get it means.
What does get it mean?
Like,
just get it.
Yeah, not like get in the trade.
I wasn't trying to like overdo it. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I like understood the language properly.
Yeah, there you go. Go get the goal. Exactly. I didn't mean like get in the trade. Hurry up, Adara.
Oh, no, you meant like get it, like the profits. Yeah. I was like, because I was like, I can't get it yet. But no, thank you. I know the get it is just a general understanding of woo. Okay, so there we go, Tesla. Yes, La. Okay.
Get it.
I don't know. Now I know what it means. So thank you. We're gonna take some out of 81s. I know I said 70s. I don't think I'm gonna get 70s. We're gonna get 81s for part of this position. I am seeing though higher lows here, so I'm gonna probably just scalp out of everything. I know, wow, like a flat position, but I'm like, you know what, Adara, you owe it to yourself. If you see stuff you don't trust, got to get out of Dodge here. We cannot break below 90s. I took 12 pennies. I'll live with that. Does it make up for the hit we took on that first attempt? Not at all. I'm not going to be like it does. But I've learned, I've grown, and I'm happy I took that trade again because you do, when you fall, when the market punches you in the face, when you get shut down because you were not scalping yesterday, you get back up and you keep going and you keep climbing and you keep doing things with the market. And I'm happy I got it where it did because I'm still seeing higher lows in the book. I would not have wanted to be in that short. I would be shaking in my little boots. So happy I got out there. Also, I was eyeing the SPY. My eyes were on the SPY there for a short at 545. So I wasn't able to get failed there. Unfortunately, it wasn't fast enough. But yeah, I want to show Bears vs. Bulls who asked me in the chat today, like, oh, are your eyes red? And I was kind of confused. I take everything literally. I was like, I don't know, maybe like my contacts have been having, I'm kind of tired. And the Bears vs. Bulls was like, oh no, it's because like, you know, like maybe you need SPY drops.
Oh,
so,
wow, you must have loved
BBB, that. Who is awesome in many ways, and now I've learned can also pun. So shout out to you. And also, BVB has patience as well in the chat, like patience. So that's a good repeated one. CrowdStrike also I'm watching because as the market falls down, CrowdStrike kind of decent around 225. Do I want more confluence? Ooh boy, yes I do. I want to see the balance of the evidence. It's been a really Law and Order button day for me. But let's see what we do here at CrowdStrike. I would like, if we get to 225, I'm interested around 227s. That might be too much. I would have to probably piece them out at 226s. But look at how CrowdStrike does not want to quit. This is weird. I like this. Crowd, I might be crowding into you for a long, potentially, if you hold 225 decently. Watch out for me. I'm coming. But yeah, what's everyone else looking at over here in the chat? Long Nvidia, let's go, says Isam. Yeah, let's see Nvidia here. Okay, you know what? 112, where the players have been known to dwell, as we've said, kind of coming into a bit of a bottoming tail candle here, and it's also supported by the future. You know what? Showed it to you, Isam. You're actually in the money if you got long here on Nvidia on that bounce. So good for you. You saw it was something you liked. You went for it. Speaking of things we like and going for them, Tesla now looking like it would like to bounce off 223 question mark. So I'm willing to scalp that into 30s. Okay, Tesla, let's go. I'm going to be doing that. We're going to try to get some of that bread there or some of that Cybertruck beep beep. So that will be the goal on Tesla because, like I said, that 223 holding. I tried the short twice now, one successful, one not, and I want to see if we can now get this long here as we bounce off 223s. We're going to get the order set for 29s for half the position, then hold a piece for the dream because this is a plan. Right now, the jazz music is telling me we have a little bit of time in that trade as we whiffle and as we waffle. But as you guys know what I'm like. If I see something I don't like, I'll get out earlier. How are you doing as this market does crazy things?
Good. I'm looking at Pfizer. Neil sent me Pfizer. Nice V-shaped recovery there, breaching yesterday's closing print at 30.55. So I said, look, you know, if it really moves up and comes back to test that level, I'm going to get in at that 30.55 level. It's at that right now. So I need proof that it's going to hold up here, and then we'll look to get in for a possible move back up. I could basically, look, in fact, I'm actually going to get in here for it, and I'm going to put the low below the low of this trough over here. So if it breaks 42s, we're gonzino on this trade, so we'll put that bad boy in there. Let me just load up my side. Okay, yeah, I have a lot of share size on Pfizer, so I'm gonna have to get out. That was a mistake. That was obviously a fat finger there. That was about 10 times the size that I wanted to take. So we'll look to get out there and then get right back in. So here we go. Yes, I like this level. Let's go again into this. And then we'll look to get out if it breaches 41s. So that's what we'll do there, and then we'll put that in. Sorry, guys, I had to take you through that ride. So I'm looking to defend this level here on PFE. If it breaks this trough over here, that's the end of the trade. I've also got a couple of different trades. You can't see them on, but I'm looking for a 57 break of EXAS. If it continues above that 57 area, it had a whole lot of trouble with it initially. It breached it, then it right back down. So if we get a breach of 57, I'm going to look to go long on EXAS. But now we are also making lower highs and lower lows. So I'm also looking short. This 55.75 also looks quite interesting to me at that area. So if we get a break of that level, I'll be very interested to get shorts. And it's not a pay for shorts type of situation here for EXAS. I was able to test to see I was able to get shorts there. So I'm ready for that one. But it looks as if Pfizer is doing the dance with the $0.50 for breaks below 41. That's going to be the end of my trade. Watching Meta move up $7 here off that 500 touch.
Wow.
And it literally did move up $7, and it literally did touch 500. There does seem to be resistance at this 508 level where we crested out last time. Doing a 507 touch right now and having issues with 507. So we'll see if this one can breach it, or does it reject a little bit lower than the previous high, which we know was 508. Right now, if I had to take my guess, just based on the Mag 7's price action, it seems like a bit of a short. And right now, it is zigging and zagging. Already $1 below that 507 is a breach, is 505. So all sorts of weakness, despite the fact that it's up 6.5%. Nothing really to say about that. Continuing to watch Pfizer. We're 2 pennies, out of the money. Continuing to watch EXAS. It's not choosing which direction it wants to go. It's not taking 57. It's not dropping below 55 3/4. So no trades on for me at the moment on this one as I wait for my levels to come in. Looking at the side chart, not seeing a whole lot here. To be honest with you, everything really down into the right of there.
Yeah, Tesla. We got another
Nice.
Tesla. Okay, I want to talk about this because this was very much a jazz piano type trade. So I actually said I know I don't normally like overstaying my welcome in these, but I've been watching this Tesla book for long enough that I felt okay with taking a little bit. I was okay with adding. So I initially got in here 223.04s, had enough where I was able to piece stuff out. I knew that going into it. I was going to take part in it at 223.30s. We didn't get there quickly enough for my taste. I got out at 223.22s. Cool. Took some profit. Fine, whatever. Then we got to 223.40s, which is higher than we got last time. Or at least, like I said, I've been using that 30 penny level, right? So I like that we got above there. We came back down, though, and then we held higher lows. I added to the position at 14s. And so I had the average price of 223.08s, and then we get below. And I said, Adara, if we bounce again at 223s, you get out with whatever bounce you have, and you run screaming for the hills. Took 10 pennies on the average position. Happy I got it where I did, though, because now Tesla's breaking new lows. That's what I mean by trusting yourself, trusting the book, trusting the tape, having confidence, having confidera. Shout out to Darwin for that one, which I just get a kick out of. But Tesla, man, Tesla, you think you're done with me? Like, if you come back to 222.50 and you reject, somebody is getting involved, and that somebody is the person you're looking at right now, Tesla and the audience. I like that wow sound. That being said, Tesla trying to come back here. We'll see what we do at 223s. Happy with this trade. I like this comment from Mark Knight. I don't understand trying to scalp pennies on long on a stock going down. I think that's valid, but I think you have to figure out what works best for you. Right? And I think for myself, I found even yesterday, like I said, got shut down. My best trades yesterday were counter trend trades on Tesla. Like we were going up and I'd short it. And because it's like, if you're confident in the book, and I want to clarify, I'm not taking flyers. I don't feel like I'm taking flyers because I've been watching the book for long enough that I see stuff I like. Tesla did have some support at 223 in the book. I knew what I was getting into. I had the short I was looking at earlier too, right? So I think to each their own. I just wanted to address that comment because what I love about this community is it makes you think. You're like, oh, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But, like I said, there's stuff in the book I liked, and it's worked out for me. Like, honestly, my biggest L on Tesla was trying to take the, quote, trend trade, which was going short as we were going to the downside. So
isn't that interesting?
That's my take on, right? I think
and I don't really understand what the difference is if you take 10 shares and take $1, or you take 100 shares and you take 10 cents.
I took more shares with this, yeah.
I mean, isn't the money the same?
Yeah, it all spends the same.
I don't get it.
I'm not trying to be, I just saw that and I was like, I wanted to address that because I think it's interesting. And I think when you have the opportunity like we do to talk about why you're doing things, I think you learn more about your style. Also, Tesla's absolutely reversing, trying to hold on to 223 here, in my opinion. Look at these wicks down here. Then we come back to 223. If we can get decisively above 223.40s, which was our last issue we struggled with on the book, that'll be super, super interesting to me. I'm not getting involved yet, but I wanted to address that comment. I think it really depends on each person and each person's style. Cal. So yeah, there we go. It worked out for me. I'm happy I took that trade. SPY trying to climb higher here, still rejecting the 90 EMA. We'll see if I need some SPY drops as we get to 545, which is a level I happen to enjoy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm still in Pfizer, and I'm looking at getting into the soft one here as it weasels its way back up like many of the other Mag 7 names, but all of them, without exception, are below, well, Meta the only exception, excuse me. I misspoke. They're all below the 10 exponential on the 5. And so that's good news for me as I'm looking for weakness. So we'll look to get in on the soft one over here and defend said level. So we're short, where are we short? 87s. So we'll look to defend up to 418.50. I'm going to put my beak wetters already. Let's set them up if we can. And I'll look to defend into around over here. So we'll put 418. Yeah, there we go. And we'll look to cover if it does weasel its way up into that level. But I will be looking to add at around 418. Let's go like that. So then we're set up there. Let's have a look at Pfizer, still at the $0.50. Not a whole lot going on with Pfizer at these levels, but defending that general $0.50. I've already got my stop in place on that one. So we'll keep tabs on that. Looking to see if I can get filled here on the softie around 33. We're going to look to defend that $0.50 level. A couple of topping tails went into the $0.50, but ultimately looking for the topping tails to come back down a little bit and reject the level. So keeping an eye on Microsoft. Microsoft's just like break even on the day, but it is at the break even level from yesterday. So I'm trying to use that level as resistance, even though, you know, it did show itself today as support, by the way, in the morning open. So it does dip into that 418 and a third and then reject. So we'll see if we can get something there. We got 08s now, so we'll look to wet our beak at around right over here, see if we can get something just a little bit below that 418 area, obviously with the ultimate stop above the $0.50. Let's see what else has happened. We're getting a 220 rejection here, it looks like, on Apple. Let's load up Apple super quick. We didn't definitely hold up on Apple at 220. We broke it quite aggressively, and now we're right back into that 220 area and putting more red candles here as we come to reject that level. So Apple reports after the bell tonight. So, you know, I was wondering why Apple was getting bought up so aggressively overnight yesterday and again this morning. And then, yeah, it ended up selling off quite aggressively. Bang on softie. So now we're about 25 pennies in the money or so. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. 417.50 is where I'm waiting for the next one. So that'd be about 75 pennies if we can wet our beak around there. But it's still doing the dance with no pants around 418.35 because that is the closing print. So we're getting a little bit of weakness here. Let's see if we can get some 70 prints. We're getting the low 80s there. We got some 70s. Now if we can weasel into the 50s, well, I'll just be pleased as punch. But we are not at the moment. So I'm going to have to pack my patience on said softie trade there. And bang, we took another piece there, Dara, for a 60 penny win. Let's see if we can get some more. Let's go, soft one. I'm still waiting over here. Yeah, punk. So we'll look to hang out Adara in the low 40s now that we de-risked in the 60s, excuse me, rather than the 50s. So we'll see if we can get something there, but it continuing to move up higher, nicely in the money on the soft one at the moment. Couple of topping tail candles showing up on Apple. You're seeing it on softie. You're seeing it on Meta. You're seeing it come down, softie. I'm waiting, baby. Come down through that $0.50. It was almost $1 there in the money. So I was pleased as punch about this one. It was a bigger position, mind you, because I got a couple of beak wetters and I still have some. So packing my patience on this one. Let's see if we can print a little bit more to the downside of there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like cheering you on there.
Oh, I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't think you're egging me on or anything like that.
I'm like, go softie.
Yeah.
I really want to.
Don't think I forgot that you egged on Ram yesterday to put me on blast. I didn't forget about that, Adara.
I didn't. Okay, what happened was she had put you on blast, and then I said, go ahead, put him on blast.
Put that man on blast. You said. I heard you.
I did. Yeah. It was a post event egging on.
Fair.
Which egging on feels also very apt for
it is, yeah, because I'm always harassing Ram.
But also,
I just didn't hear
eggs.
Bang! Oh,
that's why. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right, we just took everything out on softie. I just took $1 on softie, so that's my best trade of the week. I'm happy with that. What are you doing?
Okay, I mean, shout out. Yeah, that's back to follow there. I want to shout out Sharif's awesome trade.
Appreciate you,
SPY. Yeah, let's go. Let's go SPY. Okay, we're gonna take out, if we get to 56, I'm gonna take out part of this position. I take this trade with a bit of hesitance. I tried to go long here at the SPY and I stand by that. I said I want to see what we did at 545s. We were actually kind of bouncing, making higher lows. I liked the way we were looking to curl up into the 90 MA. So I said, cool, let's try to take that long. The long did not work out. So I said, let's try to take the 545 short. I missed it. We get down here, and then we were trying to make lower highs. Now, that being said, we are holding this 81 level in a way that I'm like, we could bounce here too. I'm being cognizant of that. Like I said, 545 will still be the level I'm watching, what we do with that whole dollar level. Right now, though, I'm in this short still because I still like that coil to the downside. I'm not seeing a lot of strength. I think whatever bounce we did have is a skosh anemic. I will feel better once I take some profit. Like I said, I'm trying to go for 55s. But SPY, I mean, if you're not going to give me 55s, I got to play some jazz piano with you. I'll get out early. That is not a problem at all. Okay, we're out of 2/3 of the position. I know 10 pennies in the money. Like I know I'm getting excited about smaller wins here, but the whole point is process and it's progress.
Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be upset because profit was taken because I learned something. Do you know what I mean? So let's see here. SPY bouncing here off the 60s areas in a way don't like. Let's see if I can get filled and just get out at 67s. If not, I'll get out wherever I need to get out because that is the thing with these markets. Like I said, I have a general plan, but the real plan is gonna come when I'm in the moment, when I see what's happening, when the spotlights are on, you've got your piano in front of you and you play. I'm gonna keep using this analogy because I found it helpful. Got out flat for the rest of the position. We were clearly gliding higher and I didn't like it, but happy I took some profit there. And oh, did I not get filled? Did I get filled? I can't tell. Yes, I did. Okay, we're all good there. Please just punch. I think I had I had to make sure I had my order canceled because I was like, I don't want to go long here.
Yeah, I don't really.
But great look. And right now, if you want an even better look at the markets and lessons and learning, we got Neil, and he's got a lesson of the day.
Welcome to your lesson of the day. Go short. I'm gonna take this mic off. We're done.
It's on your Microsoft.
No, actually, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I want to get at. But everything's about nuance, and you can have a lot of ideas that you like. I came in today. There were a lot of stocks that were down like over 10% that I felt like were breakdown trades, and we're going to give you some pretty good opportunities to the downside if you're with it. I'll get to Moderna, but the first one I was just talking about this. I was messaging back and forth with Obi about the nature of you can like a short the pop situation, but execution is everything. So I'm going to go over Teladoc. Why? Because it didn't work. I mean, Moderna ended up working. This one didn't. And I think the answer is an obvious why. You have seen this time and time again the last few weeks where if I see something I want to pop and fade and it is parabolic up, let me set the stage here. Okay, Teladoc bad earnings. Teladoc downward on the daily chart. So you kind of look at this and I'm like, okay, well, as long as we're underneath like $9 in that fresh bottom, I'm looking for the short. I do prefer it. So let's see what happens. At the open, you're breaking out, and I just sort of short level instead of short the trend break. If something is going counter trend, A. If something is super, super strong to the upside or downside if you're trying to catch a falling bid, you've got to have a more nuanced entry than just a round number, unless it's obvious. Like if I could have somehow picked this top at 875, fair. But doing it at 850 when it went this far, and I'm trying to do it off of that level, that doesn't make any sense. It gives me a good opportunity, great. Why am I reloading there? Why am I reloading there? There's no reason to reload that. Why? Because at the moment I decided I wanted to reload the same short that worked, it had presented me with a trend that was clear. There is the opening range trend, clear as all day, and I'm reloading it at the point that it's holding that trend line. I mean, come on. And look what happens when it breaks the trend line. Breaks the trend line right at $9, fails a 9 break, and pulls right back into VWAP. It's about being patient, everybody. That's the example. Have multiple ways to execute a trade. You can want to short a pop in a general sense in front of a general area, but execution matters. Sometimes on a parabolic mover, I want the trend break when established. Never re-enter if it's short, if it's holding the trend down. Only enter back in if it reverses the trend. Yes, we short the level there and it works. The second time through, it's got a trend break. The other one, I think, just has to do with being aggressive. Be aggressive. I wasn't aggressive enough with Moderna. I loved Moderna probably more than all of the other shorts because of that $100 level. Just to lay of the land, oh my goodness, that smells so good. Sean is here with the brisket. First of all, the extended lesson of the day is how ridiculously good this smells right now. I'm not even playing around.
This on our salad.
Like, are you kidding me?
It's kind of raining too. No.
Wow. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Oh yeah, we don't know.
Dara's got the mac and cheese. Starting to rain, but I think it might have been worth it. There we go.
Barbecue sauce and everything.
It's like $20 for a thing of meat like this, so hopefully it's good. Put it on top of the salad.
Hopefully it's good.
Are you doing your lesson of the day?
Yeah, this lesson of the day.
Oops.
No, we'll get back to it in a sec. No, dude, all I could do was smell how great this is. No, I stopped it anyways. I want everyone to see this. Hold on a second. No, hold on, everybody. There you go.
You owe me a service fee now, bro.
Look at this. You got the sauce. We got everything going on here. I'm gonna probably need like a plate and fork. I didn't realize. Yeah. So
I didn't expect you to open it, man. I was just bringing it. I wasn't even.
What? Gotta show everybody. What are we gonna do here? We gotta keep it real. We gotta show everybody what's going on. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, Moderna, stay aggressive. Sorry guys. I mean, you have no idea how good it smells. Trust me. If you were here, you would have stopped.
Look how good that looks.
Dude, you would have stopped too. I'm just saying. Like, you're gonna lose your focus when ish smells that good. Okay, so Moderna, stay aggressive. It was a great short, underneath 100, all that good stuff. Then we observed something pretty obvious, and this is where you got to clue in. At $95 here, yeah, now you're just going to keep doing this. There was an all-world buyer at 95. So I got out of the original short. Then this happened. There was a forever buyer at 101. And when I see this and I like the short, I'm only thinking about one thing. Sometimes you want to go long. Thanks, Patrick. Patrick just hears that we're asking for a fork and a plate, and then he just goes and gets it for both of us. Like, that's how nice a guy Patrick is. Trust me, when we tell you how great Big Patty Ice is, believe me, super awesome guy. Like, it's just, and Yannick, all the guys in the back, they're so really thoughtful, man. When this broke 100 on support, I knew I was going to short it because I'm favoring shorts. I got stopped out the first time, it broke the bottom, did not hold. And then the second time through, I just did not stay aggressive enough with it. I probably could have continued to try to grab this in through 100. I don't get it to 99. When we finished the morning show, I had to go to the bathroom. I got up from my desk. And then, of course, it goes right back into VWAP. But when you talk about being aggressive, I needed this fill. I needed to be in that short. This is the first short that I wanted. Yeah, it's the short I like the most. And when it was at its absolute best, I kind of gave up on it till it gave me the VWAP. Right, that's the next trade. This was that first opportunity. And I'm gonna give you just one more example for this as well. Here, what does that look like? So remember I talked about when something broke trend? Now this is different because it was a flat bottom. But this is now losing the trend line into that break. If you give it a tighter trend, I mean, obviously you could also go with a trend line like this, which also gives you a pretty good entry point. But I like the second one where you have both points off of the open. And if you're talking about something which is going to be SSR, just get rid of that line for you, which is going to be SSR and which is bouncing up, if you like the short, be willing to wait for confirmation, not pick a top, be involved when it loses the trend. Why? Because anybody going long in here, they don't want to be still in this when it loses the second time. Not when it's lost the trend. It's not breaking out the top. Yeah, it's a bull flag and all that good stuff, but it's still this stock. It's still this stock, right? So at the end of the day, people that are long are looking for places to take that profit. Join the move. Be willing to join the move, not be the one that has to turn it all the way around. And I could apply all of that to trying to pick up a bottom. It just so happens today that it was the shorts that I wasn't quite aggressive enough with and missed a couple of entry points on. So there's your lesson of the day. You can like the direction all you want, but if it's popping up into a short area, you've got to have multiple execution plans. And if it's stronger than expected, then you've got to be able to pivot to a different execution. For anyone watching, I basically have a tight trail on Moderna into this. See this chop? It breaks up, I'm out, it breaks down, I'm looking low of the day. Now we got plates, we got the brisket. Yeah, let's move back to the midday so I can eat. Thanks, Sean. This looks so good.
Aw. All right, well, I didn't get a brisket. I didn't get any ice cream. I didn't get anything, so it's all good there. Yeah, we did a couple of good trades while we were away. So this one over here on EXAS took the bigger portion out. A nice, like, about 40 penny, not 40 penny, about 30 penny move. Got stopped out for a 15 penny loser on the way down on the remaining amount, which was less than the initial amount. So finally got in a trade on this one. But to be honest with you, I'm really kind of not happy with how I fumbled it because I ended up getting stopped out bottom bottom freaking wick. So that's damn annoying. I would have wanted to have that $0.50 print, but that's just the way that one goes. So no crying in trading, like there's no crying in baseball. Do you ever watch League of Their Own?
No, but I've seen
Very good movie. Very good movie. I'm not really a big fan of the remake, but neither. I'm not really a fan of. Yeah.
You're in the majority.
Yeah, the original one was good with like Madonna and all those people.
Yeah. The
350, 3050 is where I'm looking right now. Still on Pfizer, nothing doing there. Really holding the $0.50. I'm not getting stopped out, nor am I taking profit. So not a whole lot to report to you on that one. But I'm not going to get out of the trade because the trade is still not invalid. The dead one is coming back down again, and the dead one is as dead as it can be today from I guess a negative perspective because it just keeps rejecting 220 over and over and over. I think we stay very sell focused, very bear focused on Apple until earnings. I did read a little bit about the expectations. Analysts are waiting for this. Apparently, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but what's being written right now amongst the analysts is that Apple beats expectations as a result of the cuts that they made to their iPhones in China, boosting sales despite the fact that they are no longer top 5 or top 6 or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, basically guessing right now as to what it is. Jay Lee, it is time to go long stocks. Is it time to go long stocks, Elliot, or are we going to recover after hours again like last time? Yeah, that was a hell of a recovery yesterday, Jay. That was insane. I was at home watching that on my on the desk and at work at the desk, and it just kept going up and up and up, and I had no idea what was going on. I even told the Katina man when I came into it, I'm like, I watched this thing go up to 19.7, and right now we're about 500 points below that. Zigging and zagging is the NQ. Anyway, let's have a look at semis. See what it's a foot right now in semi world. These are a chart of all the semis right here on my list. Nvidia, AMD, TSM, Intel, Micron, AMAT, SMC. I'll change some of these. These are older, but you can still see a decided trend with all these named down and to the right. Some of them coming into key areas, key moving averages, excuse me. Some of them are not even close. So we'll keep an eye on these ones, but I'm not gonna go long on the semis just quite yet. Oh, CrowdStrike's at VWAP. Okay, that's interesting. So now I have
that too.
Yeah, good call, Adara. I need to look at that. So let's pull up CRWD on the NQ and see what's good over here. So the deal is we're at 227.5 to a third. Okay, and we're at the volume weighted average price. 228 is the high there. Here we go. We're right back into that 227.5, 227 and 2/3. You're going to have to give this like $1, I feel. To if you get in here, maybe above 228, actually. So like 50 cents or thereabouts. What do we do here on Crowd? What do we do on Crowd? Yeah.
How do you solve a problem like
Marie?
CrowdStrike? I just know you know that musical, and I was like, wow.
Love it. I'm short, Crowd. What do you do when I have to put in my my stops? And stuff
Shout
like
out
that?
to you. I am back in the SPY.
Woo!
I had some SPY moments while we were off camera. I literally said to Sharif, I was like, I wanted to go to the washroom, but then SPY did SPY things, so I did. Well, eventually did. Not the point. So I had this long here, took 50 pennies on the final third of the position, 15 with the first 2/3, but I don't love this first long I took here off the 40s. I think my entry point, I should have waited to see what we did at 45s, or 45.20s. We bounced those, so I liked it. I said, whatever, go long, stay long. Then, though, I tried to go long again here, and I will say I waited for the retest of 546, so I'm okay with that. Then we kind of dipped decisively below 546. I got out. So I think my entry point, ironically, was better on the losing trade than it was in the winning trade. Now we're time for this trade where we're almost 50 pennies in the money with the final third. I did want to add here, if we bounced off 70s, I don't think we're going to get that bounce, but man, I'm willing to just chill here with you, SPY. SPY, if you go back up and you bounce again 546, I'm going to stay in this trade. I have no qualms. I have some qualms as a SPY. I'm mostly qualmless here, 60 pennies in the money in the S&P 500. Woo! I took this trade because, like I said, I liked that 545.30 level. That to me was a decision point. I tried to take it a couple different directions, a little bit of zig, a little bit of zag. Then I noticed that we were kind of bouncing off, and initially I was like, oh, Adara, your entry point should have been 540. 530s, but it's like, no, Adara, now you can risk into 545.30s knowing that that's the area. If we break below, you don't want to be there anymore. So it ended up working out. Currently trying to get 70 pennies here on that S&P 500. I am really proud of this trade. I'm proud of myself for sticking with it. If we cannot decisively break above 546.20s, things might get dicey, but this is a really small position. I'm willing to let it ride here because, like Neil said, you want to have small positions go against you, but this is in the money. Until I see something in the book I don't like, I'm going to chill in the SPY. I cannot believe I'm saying these words. Good times. Kazra OW saying Tesla short, Adara short Tesla right now. Let's take a look here at T to the SLA. Like I said, Tesla, I'm always going to take short based in the book. Kazra. I see what you mean in that we're at 224. That was a clear area of support earlier. Could be resistance. If I see something in the book that suggests a short, I'll get short there. Right now, 90 pennies on the SPY. Let's see if we can get to 546.50s. I don't think I need to stay and please this punch, but I am. We're curling back a little bit here now, though, so I'm going to take 83 pennies on the SPY. Really happy with that trade. I think I might still be down on that name because, like I said, that was a smaller position because I pieced some of it out, but really happy with how that went. And if you have any tickers you're looking at that you're excited about,
forgot to do
don't
that.
get rinsed. Don't do that. Wet beak. That's still the wrong animation, Adara. There we go. 3 times the charm. If you have any tickers you're looking at, exclamation point, join space, dollar sign, whatever ticker you're interested in. Maybe it's CrowdStrike. Maybe it's the SPY. Maybe it's EWIM. Maybe you want to hear about what Starbucks did on day 2 earnings. I don't know why I said that. Actually, I have a Starbucks next. That's probably why. But whatever ticker it is, get involved, guys. Shout out to Kazrao, though. Shout out to Chelsea. Ashley, looks like you're also short here in Tesla. I would like to see what we do here as we get below the 9 EMA. And with the book, happy to go to the SPY where I did too, because it cannot. It's struggling a little bit here with 546.30s. How are you doing?
Good. I just wet my beak on some profits on Pfizer, so that stopped lulling me to sleep. Happy that I didn't take this one out. So good trade right now on Pfizer, but the CrowdStrike back in the money on this one. All right, let's see if it can dip down. It's zigging and zagging. We were just in the money. Now we're out of the money again. My stop is where it is. I'm just... I want to put it a little bit higher. I just don't want to get rinsed. That's the thing. It's requiring me to put it higher based on previous areas of technical resistance, but that technical resistance doesn't jive with my risk. So we're gonna let this trade unfold and see what we get, and we will not get upset. So I'm just watching it. The reason I'm in CrowdStrike, by the way, in case you guys are wondering, it's at VWAP. It's rejected VWAP multiple times. Doesn't mean it's going to reject it again. So we could absolutely get rinsed on this one. So we'll see. We're nicely in the money here on PFE as it continues to move up. Not really, it's not parabolic by any nature. I'm looking to see whether it can breach that 68 penny area because that's where it topped out there last time. So all eyes on that. Apple, though, was a really interesting short off 220. It did give you that breach into 220.20, but that was in an even better area because look where the area of technical support was. Flips to resistance, that 220.20. So even though that 220 in itself obviously is the area a lot of people are looking at, the $10 area, the whole dollar area, yada, yada, yada. The actual price area support, now resistance, was 220.20. So whoever took that, good on you. I didn't have eyes on that and probably lamenting that now. Still in PFE, still in this crowd short as it continues to kind of hold up at these areas, still lower highs, to be quite honest. So here we go. Let's see if we can move down a little bit. We're showing 25s on the bid. I'm short 36s. If we can drop a little bit over here, I'm looking to wet my beak into 27s or thereabouts. But, the movement on CrowdStrike is you're just going to have to pack your patience. Elon, hi, Sharif. I'm still in PFE, $30 long in my long-term portfolio. Happy trading by the dip. Elon, my man, I yapped about this not all of yesterday. I am a fan of Pfizer. My father is a pharmacist, okay, and we've been in the pharmacy game for many, many years. I've been around this manufacturer for as long as I can remember, and every time you think they're out, they come with something. All right, whether it's Cithromax, whether it's Lipitor, or whether it's Viagra, whatever, they seem to be able to have a good product pipeline, so I'm not betting as bang on CrowdStrike. We take 40 pennies right there, baby.
You struck it.
Let's go down, CrowdStrike. Get your rear end lower. I want more money, right? So let's go. All right, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm yelling.
I like that.
All right, so we rejected the volume-weighted average price, guys. That was the reason I got into CrowdStrike. It's not a secret. Now we're at almost $1 in the money, Adara, on the striked one. Let's go down a little bit. We're printing 57s. I've got 36s. If we can drop a little bit more, I'm going to hit flatten. Oh, baby, it's Thursday, but it doesn't feel like it.
It really doesn't, and you look stricken with joy, might I say,
Thank
on
you.
your trade. So I'm pleased as punch for you. I am in Apple. I'm short Apple. Apple's not a stock that I trade a lot, just because it's what I feel like I struggle to have a read on sometimes. But I did get involved here because I was. I'm just gonna get my there. Okay, so I got involved because look at all these topping tail candles here. We're below the 90 MA. We're near that 220 area. I said, yeah, sure, let's get short. Now I had a bit of a larger position in this, and this is I think something that's got me in the past with Apple. I give it a little bit too much size because I got used to it being a dead one where you can just kind of like scalp it in and out. It's not that child anymore. It's a very different individual. It has grown up. But I took that short. Basically was almost immediately able to get 15 pennies in the money here. I took that area because I liked where we had all these wicks down into. I think if we break below that, thought it was a good look. We got as low as 30 pennies in the money. I should have scalped out some more there, but I was like, and I didn't see anything in the book to tell me like leave immediately. So I decided to add it. I'm going to continue piecing this in and out unless I see a distinct change in the trend. I know I said I was looking less for like whole dollar levels on these Mag 7 stocks, but this is one that I have a plan for, and I'm still scalping it, so I feel better about it. It wasn't like yesterday with Amazon where I was waiting for levels that honestly were probably never going to come, and when they did come, I wasn't scalping. So you have to scalp. You have to trust yourself. If you see yourself as a scalper, this one thing Neil and I were talking about yesterday in the market recap that I want to shout him out about. It's like if you're a scalper, scalp. If you like those like longer like station to station moves, as Neil was saying, that's the type of trader he is. You got to do those. I took some other money there on Apple, so pleased as dang punch. Woo! If we can't break decisively below 50s, I might just get out here, guys. Like I said, still a scalper at heart. Let's see the Qs are poised to break lower. Okay. I'm cool staying with you, Apple. I'm not going to add into this. I have no reason to now. I have a decent enough size that I could have a couple pieces here, but I'd rather just take everything out. You know what? We're going back to 50s. Let's get out 20 pennies in the money. I can live with that. Okay. Thank you. I'm pleased as punch. Let's go. Adham Abu Sahel, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Sharif, my man. Oh, sorry. I'm talking to you.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know. I didn't see that. Okay. Fubo. Yes, absolutely. We'll have a look at that for you. No problem. Thank you, Edhem. He says, Sharif, my man, can you give us a quick look at Fubo? I listened to the show in the background at work. Shout out to you. I can tell you that they take my money from August until May. And then after May, they don't see my money until August. Why, you ask? Because of the Prem. Anybody who knows anything about the Prem knows. All right, Fabian, we're going to show them Fubo. All right, we're going to start off on the daily to see what the sitch is. All right, so it's not a good look. Look, I got to tell you, Edhem, Fubo in Canada has exclusive rights to the Prem. So anybody who wants to watch the Prem in Canada either has to get IPTV illegally or they got to get Fubo. So you're going to have to take your pick. But it's only Canada that they have that exclusivity. And I got to tell you, Adam, from a user perspective, I don't like it. I'm not saying it's not a good stock. I'm just saying from a user's perspective, I don't like it. Why? Because they're throwing all these channels at me that I don't want. There's all this bloatware with Fubo. It's like all I want is like kind of like the necessities that you get with DAZN. They're giving me like channels that I can get on my cable anyway. I just personally don't like it. I'm forced to use it because of the Prem. Now, chart-wise, it doesn't look that much better, Adam. I mean, like, look at this. Let's zoom in a little bit and figure out what the situation is. So the low here, local low, it's been defending $1, fantastic. So if you're gonna buy this, near $1 would be great. It defended the dollar back in March and April of last year. This time around, it didn't quite make it down into $1 lately, but very much around there, $1.10, $1.15. It's still south of $2 and has been, Adam, since when was that? Basically March of this year, the last time it was above $2. So moving in here, look, we just took the 50 exponential on the 5. Prior to that, we had been rejecting the 50. That March rejection is telling that May rejection as well. Then we got another one mid-May. And now we're above the 50 and holding the 50 now as support. I like that. So what the area of previous technical resistance, let's call it $1.33 here on the daily, has now flipped to support. So I guess that's step one for the recovery. But there's all sorts of selling at them at that $1.50. You can see that given the umpteen amount of topping tail candles that go through $1.50 with not one closing print in this particular area over here of cluster of candles that closes above $1.50. Even this one, the outlier over here, the closing print was, you guessed it, $1.49. So there's all sorts of pressure keeping this one below $1.50. It's held $1. Then it was rejecting $1.33. Now we're $1.50. So I like seeing that. That's good. But when you look at the overall major trend, it's not very good. So what I'd say to you is look for that $1.50 hold. That break above $1.50, it closes there and it defends it the next day in the same way that it closed here above $1.33 and then defended it every single time on a closing basis. Look for that $1.50 break and take, and let me know how it goes. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the platform, and I've personally used it, so I can spit up a storm on this, Adair.
Thank you for dropping that hotline. Yeah. I did get here. Sorry, my brain. I got 22 pennies out of Tesla there to get to that new low of day. I still have a piece for the dream. My plan for this trade was basically, I want to shout out Kazrao because he did call that 224 short, and I said, well, you know, I kind of want to wait and see what happens. It wasn't one that I wanted to get involved in, just the way that I trade, at least until I had levels I liked in the book. But look at that, like I said at the time too, this 224 was gorgeous because it was a clear resistance support flip. We got that resistance. It came in hot and it came in heavy. I saw us get here to that previous area of support there, that 220, 250. I watched what we did in the book. We got a little bit below, 10 pennies below 50s. We couldn't hold it. We dropped back below. I got short. I took out half the position at just above that previous low of day. The low of the day at the time was 220, 227. I got out 220, 229. I'm not adding to this position right now. I'm just going to let this ride if we continue to push to the downside. But it's been a fun little day for these shorts. What I love too about being here, about being in this community, about being able to speak in front of it. Because I feel like when you're trying to speak and understand why you're taking the trades, when you're speaking it out loud, I actually think it helps me understand the position and my impetus better, because you have to essentially be able to, if not justify, explain. Like, this is why I'm doing this. This is where I'm doing this. Sean does it with his sticky note, and Sean and Neil do it every single day when they speak in front of you. And I feel like when you have to speak about it in some ways, when you say it out loud, you're really like confirming it in your brain. You're hearing it. You're understanding it being said. And I think you understand it a little bit deeper on a cognitive level. Also, make sure you get in that chat. Vote for whatever tickers you're looking for. Maybe you want to hear about Amazon, which I know Sean was short on. Maybe you want to hear about, still short. Shout out to Sean, still short Amazon. Meta, maybe you want to hear about Meta and that awesome, over $10, $12 trade on Meta. So whatever ticker you're interested in, get in that chat, guys. Make sure your voice is heard. Tesla grinding, trying to grind lower here. If we reject off 30s, I'm cool staying in this trade. And yes, we did get that rejection off 30s. I would love to see a 222 break, but I'm not going to ignore signs just to get that 222 break, because that'd be kind of weird. If I see stuff I don't like, I will just leave here. But please just punch happy. I stuck with this trade a little bit. Still, I would argue scalpy to some extent, but a bit of a different strategy for me as we break lower on these here markets. I'm also watching the SPY back at that 545 level that I've been waxing poetic about. Like I said, I've noticed the SPY at whole dollar levels has been really fun to play with. Currently at 544.70. So if we get to 545, have a chop, have a churn, and have a drop, I'm very interested in that. Tesla, I don't like us being unable to break out there. So I got out there 42 pennies in the money. Of course, we could break below 222, but I'd rather start that as a fresh trade and take the profit from that first trade. What's the news in this fall, says Lasmel Melendez. We were not 100% sure. We did see some news again coming earlier today. Also happy to go to the Tesla where I did, because what a bounce at 222s. But also, we did have that news earlier today. Axios reporting that Netanyahu is set to talk with Biden about escalating tensions in the Middle East. We had the leader of Hezbollah saying that Israel has unwittingly had entered a new phase of the battle, and they crossed red lines when they struck Tehran and Beirut. So basically, again, just to clarify, some ongoing Middle Eastern tensions heating up there with Hezbollah and Israel. That was the news, but that came out a little bit before that drop. Also, Tesla, massive bounce here at 222. Market, big bounce here. Bit of a trampoline action for this market. Oh, Qs. I wasn't even looking at you, Qs, but Qs. Do you want to come to that area of support here? 463. If you want to reject 463, somebody shortened the Qs. The TQs, not the Qs. But also, oh my gosh, SPY's up 545. Do I want to take two futures for the price of one? Do I? Do I really, Sharif? I don't know. Okay, I do. I'm definitely taking my SPY, because the SPY is coming into my area. That is for darn sure. We're going to try to get 95s. Heck yeah, let's see what we do here on these Qs. Sorry guys, I'm just so excited because this market has been so exciting, and this has been an awesome, awesome time. Kaz Rao saying, Adara calling it now, Tesla price at end of day, 113.64. Do you mean 213.64? I'd be guessing.
I hope so.
Yeah, I want to say though, Drew and I both noticed some weird resistance there with Tesla at the 220, or sorry, support for Tesla at 220. Last time it broke down, it bounced right at 220. So be aware of that. In the money a little bit here on my SPY. Going to take some profits out at 75s if we come back to that area and we whiffle and we waffle. Please, Des Punch, this has been a fun little day for shorting those pops. Tesla back at 222, so if that comes into rejection, I'm going to short that. What a fun day. I hope you guys have been having as much fun at these markets as we have, because this has been so exciting. I want to shout out again your CrowdStrike short, because you called the levels on that perfectly. That thing made higher. It's technically still trying to make higher lows, but you got that short off VWAP beautifully.
Appreciate
so
you,
I want to shout you out.
Appreciate you, man. All right, let's get to the lesson of the day. Sorry, guys, I'm missing one slide, so the last slide, I'm going to have to use my notes. We are talking about gap filling. Yesterday, we talked about measuring gaps and what they could tell us about the subsequent price action and support and resistance. Today, we're going to talk about the filling of gaps after they actually manifest on the chart. So traders, today we delve into the phenomenon, something like a phenomenon. Do you know that one by Lady Lover Cool J?
No, I
You don't know
Cool J, but I don't know that song.
She doesn't know phenomenon. Well, Adara always punching outside her weight class. I'm sure she'll know all about it by the end of the week. While not every gap gets filled, understanding the concept is crucial for effective technical analysis. So let's talk essentially what is gap filling first and foremost. So gap filling occurs when the price of a security retraces to fill the void created by that previous gap. I'll show you what I mean in a second. It's essentially the market correcting an imbalance and restoring equilibrium between buyers and sellers. And that's essentially what's happening when the gap gets filled. And here it is. So we're zigging, we're zagging, all of a sudden, overnight, let's just say, let's just pretend this is Snapchat, all right? All of a sudden, Meta reports that they printed about $15 billion in profit. Oh yeah, they did. And then all of a sudden, Snapchat gaps up overnight in sympathy with Meta. A snap gap. Thank you, Adara. Fantastic. All of a sudden, we have a snap gap coming up, but it wasn't Snap that actually received the headline. It was Meta. So even though there was initial buyer exuberance, all of a sudden, a few days later, we weasel our way down and the trade is over and the gap gets filled. And this is what we call a common gap because it's not breaking out above a key area of resistance or support, and it's not in the middle of a trend. This is a consolidative move. And so that's kind of what the gap fill looks like. I don't know what's going on with this thing today. And here is, this is basically a downtrend switching to an uptrend. Why'd I show you this? Because here we have the breakaway gap. Let's just reinforce everything we've learned already in gaps. We have the breakaway gap because we're gapping below a key area of technical support. So it's a down move. So the breakaway gap initiates that big first move. Then we have the runaway gap or the continuation gap or the measuring gap, whatever you want to talk about, which happens in the trend. And then the exhaustion gap comes because it gets filled a short time later. And then the actual gap that fills the exhaustion gap actually is a breakaway gap in and of itself because it's breaking out through a key area of technical resistance, which is this area over here. So I just want to show you that so we can kind of get an idea of where these gaps are going to occur. And by the way, this is a bullish island reversal. Remember the island gaps?
Island gap.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. After I found out about them, I stopped singing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
For me to ruin them for you.
Yeah. Well, Ram sent me quite the
story.
We'll leave that, Katina, man, off right now. Okay, so I will, Paula. Remind me, Paula, once I'm done the lesson, remind me to talk about that Nvidia gap. I will, but I just got to finish the lesson for now. So the types of gaps, let's talk about those. Common gaps, we did an entire day on this. We know them to be the most likely gap to get filled. They often, basically represent temporary buy imbalance differences, okay? So basically, they're I don't want to say that they don't create areas of technical support or resistance, but they're not as usable as some of the other ones. The breakaway gap, this is less likely to get filled because it's usually breaking out of a key area of technical resistance or support. So they can partially fill sometimes, and that partial fill ends up being the new area of support. So say, for example, we gap up above 200 on Apple. We go from 200 to 220. That's the top of the gap candle, all right? And then we retrace back down to 210. We don't come back down to 200, though. we come back into 210. I submit to you the new area of support is a 210 area, not 200. That's what this lesson is trying to tell you. And last but not least, exhaustion gaps. These ones usually do get filled because they happen at the end of a trend. So unless you consolidate sideways forever and ever, you're typically going to come back down usually and fill that gap. So exhaustion gaps more likely to be filled than the breakaway / runaway gaps or the continuation gaps. These ones less likely than common, but still more likely than the others. So reasons for gap filling. Several factors can contribute to gap filling. The first and foremost is a market correction. So after a rapid price movement, the price often undergoes a correction to rebalance that supply and demand. But there's also profit taking that can be had here. Traders, for example, who enter into positions after the gap might take profits as it comes back into fill. So when you end up selling, when it's already filling and coming back down, you get more selling and then you end up getting the gap getting filled. But there's also the issue of institutional rebalancing. How many times have we seen this? We get an earnings play. Meta obviously printed up a storm yesterday. I wonder how many hedge funds are going to be looking to weasel into Meta now that they, the buying committees are going to meet subsequent to earnings. They make the decisions. That's communicated to their traders, and then their traders get on board, and then they start buying up the stock. So all sorts of institutional level rebalancing can have the effect of definitely filling some of these gaps, right? Identifying these areas of potential gap fills can be quite profitable if you're able to weasel into the trade. So while not every gap will fill, certain indicators can suggest to you a higher probability of that gap getting filled. And the first and foremost is going to be gap size. I'm going to submit to you that the smaller the gap, the more likelihood that it gets filled. It's not a hard and fast rule, but one to have on your checklist there to see if it fits the profile. Volume, also a key indicator here. Lower trading volume during gap formation can increase the likelihood of the fill. So you got to have one eye on the gap and one eye on the volume. You're going to be cross-eyed, looking different ways, right? And then you got to look at trend strength, right? A weakening trend, if you were aggressively making higher highs and higher lows, now you found yourself in a bit of a consolidative area or not really moving up, or if you're moving up, it's more anemic. A weakening trend can signal to you the increasing probability that the gap may get filled and the trend is coming to an end. And last but not least, I like this one the most. If you gap into, not above, but into a key area of support or resistance, and you don't breach it, you have a higher likelihood of getting filled. So for example, if we're at 190 on Apple, before it broke 200, we gap up from 190, we gap up into 195, all right? We trend up a bit a couple of days later. All of a sudden, we're hitting that 200. We haven't gapped above 200. All of a sudden, we come all the way back down to that 190. What would have been way more bullish is if we had gapped above 200 and held it as a key area of support. So keep in mind, gaps that coincide with strong support or resistance levels are more likely to be filled. Keep that in mind. And so I told you guys I forgot to do the last slide, so I'm going to read off my notes over here. Trading gap fills, this can be important as well. Trading gap fills can be profitable, but it also carries risk. You can look to buy the dips, for example, for up gaps. Buying near the lower gap boundary can be a potential strategy. You can also look to sell the rally. Downward gaps near the upper gap boundary can be considered. You can look to short the pop there. Stop loss orders go without saying. I would put the stop loss order for a long below the gap fill and for a short above the gap fill, because if you fill the gap, your trade is no longer valid from a gap trading perspective. It could be valid from a different perspective, but not that one. And false signals, they do and will occur. So I was waxing poetic using a Dara-ism about, looking to break that 200 level on Apple. Well, you could break that 200 level on Apple and the gap fill, and then it could get filled. There's nothing preventing it from doing that. The market sentiment can change, and you can absolutely get rinsed. So you always got to make sure you're employing sound risk management skills and make sure that you're using those stops. And that's basically it, Adair.
Yeah, thank you for waxing poetic about that. No, seriously though, thank you so much to Stream for putting together the lesson every day. Markets break lower. Okay, we're like 25 pennies in the money here in Tesla. So I want to clarify too. I actually was initially, and this might be like, you might be like, oh, when I say this, I was looking at Tesla as a long at 222, and I say that as someone who took many shorts into the 222 because that Tesla 222 did not want to budge. it would not move. We'd like wick above it, wick below it. But we still had resistance. Like I said, Tesla will randomly choose penny levels to be weird with. All day today and yesterday, it's been funky at every price level around 221.30. Or whatever, 30-cent level, right? Whatever it is. So here we get to 222.30 and we reject. We waffle for a bit. And then we come right back up. And so with that in mind, I had to get out of this because every time I think Tesla's going to finally have that beautiful breakdown, Tesla kind of like, you know, has a little bit of a moment. It might like push down lower, to be clear, and it could. Looks like now we're trying to break now into that 221.70s. But the point is, for my scalping purposes, I'm just going to keep taking it as it gets to 222 and breaks down. I was watching it for a long, so we were holding that 222 beautifully with an inability to break decisively at the time below 221.90s. Didn't end up working out. Happy I took the short though, where I did profit on both of those outs. So good times. And yeah, to clarify. Everyone's going to have different styles and different reasons they have impetus for the trade, right? This chart as well helped me because the book was making me a little bit unsure, but the chart, we had a big old topping tail candle. So I said, hey, Adara, that looks a little bearish. Ended up going short. Also, with regards to how I read the book, we have someone named Crap Stock in the chat saying, hey, one time could we do a lesson where you talk about what you see in the book and how is the impetus for entries, exit? I would love to talk. I mean, I talk about that pretty frequently, and I apologize. I know I'm not always the best at describing what I see, but I think it's hard to because a lot of it you're seeing in the moment, and it's patterns. And sometimes you don't notice you're seeing something until you've seen it a couple times. So I'm definitely willing to try to kind of formulate some sort of formal talk about it. That's for sure. So I appreciate you saying that there. Crap stock, hopefully the stocks have not been treating you the way that your name has them. Hopefully they've been treating you very nicely. Chelsea Ashley saying, host, do y'all set stop losses and take profits while you're scalping? I usually will just be using hotkeys while I'm scalping. I find I like to get more in and out because when I scalp, I want to be like, I want to be very like flippant, quite literally. I want to be flipping in and flipping out, and I want to be in the stocks pretty briefly. But it really depends on your style. It depends on your definition of scalp too, because different people can have different scalp time frames. There'll be times where I'll be like, I remember one time in the sim, I was in and out Nvidia, 1 minute candle, like taking out like $2.50. That was again in the sim. I wish it was in the live. But the point I'm trying to make is it really depends on your style of trade and what you're trading, I think, as well for scalp. But yeah, MRNA, crash it. Says Eric here, Eric Nativa Dad. So let's take a look here at this. Nice. mRNA. Yeah, Moderna getting a shot there in the arm, but like not a nice, like fun vaccine to make it happy. It looks like it got some kind of bad vaccine there. I like this 98 level, just above 98. I know Neil was looking at this one earlier. We did have that support. Then we had a massive candle of resistance. We wick up into VWAP. Can we hold VWAP? No, we can't. We fly to the downside, trying to reject that 90 MA here as well. Let's wait and see. But crowd, do you want to range? CrowdStrike. Look at this. CrowdStrike holding 225. I was saying earlier, CrowdStrike, as the market fell, held up really well. Sharif had his awesome short there on CrowdStrike, taking that VWAP rejection. So I think that's a good look here for C to the R to the W to the D. Tesla, let's see what we do here. We come back up into 222s, 222, 2222. Great pizza at a great price. I'm thinking this is, I think, a slogan only in Winnipeg. But yeah, Tesla trying to bounce at 221.50s. Let's see what we get here on La Marquettes. What else is going on here? What else are we looking at?
Can I just mention something?
Please do, yeah.
Because I told Paula Beckford I would look at the gap on Nvidia. And then Joshua, I believe Dixon wanted that as well, so I've got to do it for both. So here we go. But before I do that, Fabian, are we ready for the ad read? One? Okay, sounds good. All right, so here's the look, guys. This is, let me put the ticker in so everybody can follow along, NVDA, because this is interesting here. So I removed pre-market price action. So I didn't mention this. I should have mentioned this probably right at the beginning on the first day of gaps. If you're going to include pre and aftermarket price action, it's going to visibly distort your gap analysis on the daily, on the weekly, etc., even on the 4-hour possibly, because some people chart longer term on the 4-hour. Why? Because it's going to show you, like, here's my point. So keep your eye on this area over here, and this gap. This is a downward gap over here. I think this is what the guys are talking about, this gap over here. Now, let me add in my pre-market data, and then you're going to see how fundamentally I can't see the gaps anymore. So we're going to show data outside of regular trading hours. Lo and behold, the gaps are gone. So you're really going to need to, keep in mind that you're going to have multiple different, I guess, Setups for your charts, ones that you analyze gaps off and ones you don't, because I like to have pre and after market price action for my intraday trading analysis. I don't necessarily like it for my long term. So here we go. So we got a couple of gaps over here that are up gaps, and these happen in May, and there was all sorts of strength in May, right? Nvidia reported again, all the hyperscalers were buying. So we got a couple of up gaps here, but I gotta tell you, these are continuation gaps. And why are they continuation gaps? Because you're seeing them in the middle of the trend. We were up and to the right in Nvidia a year and a half before these gaps manifested, and they didn't get closed right away. You could look at them as continuation, or you could take a little bit of a different one and say, well, Sharif, this one manifested in May and it got filled in July. Well, that's 2 months worth of price action. To me, that's not really what we're talking about in terms of an exhaustion gap. It should be getting filled a little bit quicker than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say these are continuation gaps, but this one over here is the one I have my eye on. This one on July 17th, we gapped down quite aggressively. We opened up that day at $1.28, $128 up. That's obviously post-split. And we dropped to 118. So that would have been a $100 drop pre-split. That would have been quite bearish. And then look what we did subsequent to that. Lower highs, lower lows, not breaking that trend. We haven't filled, though, this particular gap over here. This gap remains unfilled, the one on May 23rd. So that still hasn't come into fruition. Now, remember what we also said about spotting these exhaustion gaps. Are there any chart patterns that happen around the exhaustion gap area that could be reversal-ish? I see a double top here, possibly on NVDA at around $1.40, $1.45. And it's also coinciding with this, I would say, possible initiation gap. It's not a breakaway gap because it doesn't break below a key area of technical support. I would say that would have to be quite a bit lower. But that's my look. I'm seeing an initiation gap on the way down. It's making lower highs and lower lows. It's filled one of the two gaps that happened in the spring, and it's got a gnarly double top on the top of it. All that I can check on my list for possible bearish reasons for Nvidia, and then at the end of the day, the market can flip me off and tell me, well, we're gonna go higher. So I can do my best to analyze it, and that's just how I see it for you guys. But at the end of the day, Nvidia could just blow earnings out of the water again and, you know, make all this completely irrelevant. But I also want to talk about something. And you and I talked about this, and I even said to you, Adara, who the hell is Apple buying the GPUs from? I said this to you before we found out the TPUs, right? And now, all of a sudden, the monster, or the dead one, obviously one of the biggest company in the world right now, is not buying from Nvidia. Does that start a new trend where some of these other non-hyperscalers start buying from Google's GPUs because they can't get their hands on GPUs from Nvidia?
That's a good point.
And AMD can't make them because Nvidia is taking all of TSMC's supply.
That's true too.
So many different questions to be asked here. I mean, some of them technical, some of them more fundamental. But if you can't talk about them on the midday, when really can you?
Right, shout out to that.
Thank you.
Also, I want to say too, I really appreciate, because Sharif, you know, is involved. He's involved in Apple, and you have a lot of knowledge as well about that company and what they're doing. So I appreciate the, you know, the insight you bring to that. So I want to shout you out on that. I've been staring at Tesla 22150s. I'm going to say something kind of shocking. I think we could be flipping long here on these markets. And as I say that, Tesla's probably going to make a new low. But the reason I say that is because I was looking at the SPY, and I was actually short Tesla while I was considering going long the SPY, which felt kind of weird. But I got short Tesla initially, 22150s. We tested it in the book, then broke lower, retested it. I got short. We popped up kind of viciously into 22170s. Didn't like it, lost 20 pennies, yada, yada. But then Tesla was really bouncing off that 22150s. Now we're trying to curl a little bit lower, so I think that Tesla's turned me into a little bit of a liar. That's cool, Tesla. I put up with a lot from you, so I can put up with that. But the SPY here is really why I think, okay, now it looks kind of topping taily, but we had a bit of support here forming, and we pushed up into that 544 area. I was kind of considering getting long 543.70s, missed that opportunity because I was busy hanging out with that cyber beast, as Sharif sometimes calls it. But if the SPY can use make these higher lows, this topping tail candle notwithstanding, because as Sharif says, you don't want to put all your stock in one candle. Sometimes the price movement matters too. I think we could be seeing a bit of an upturn, and I think the TQs reflect that a little bit as well, or the Qs. Let's just pull up the TQs because that would be the way I would be trading. Le NASDAQ. But let's take a look here at the, okay, so the TQs, I think we're trying to form a bit of support is what I'm trying to say. All these wicks here to the downside. Tesla, as it tries to break down, still can't really get decisively below those 30 levels. And you guys know I like those 30-cent levels and every level in Tesla. 221.30 has not broken yet. Though as I'm speaking, it looks like it's going to try to probably prove me wrong and break. But yeah, I think we could be curling here. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'll be continuing to play things on, based on the book and not based on anything other than that. We did get another drop down here in the market. So yeah, I've been having fun. Like my style of trading, I've just been scalping, chilling out with those scalps. Moderna rejecting off the 9 EMA. I should have maybe had more eyes on Moderna. 20-cent spread, which is not the vibe, but I love this really clean 9 EMA rejection here at 95s. Interesting look here for mRNA. CrowdStrike as well, continuing to be a little interesting. Like I said, I still think we're weirdly strong on CrowdStrike, especially compared to the rest of the market. But now we're kind of struggling a little bit more here. If we can get above the 9 EMA and hold that 226, I'd take it long into 227s, but we have to wait and see what we do on that name. Pfizer's still giving you an injection of happiness and profit?
I wet my beak once, Adara. Now we're weaseling into 60s. I'd love a 60 break here, guys. Maybe wet my beak at 65s. It's been holding 46, 45s really well. You know I had my stop below this area trough over here. So shout out to Neil for giving me this trade. It's not printing the biggest money, but it's profitable, and that's all that matters. So let's talk quickly here about HIMS, because I see you guys in the chat yelling about how it's tanking. And here is the look. I'm trying to load it up. There it is. Let's flip to the one. And see, oh, look at that big boy move. 21.25. We closed out yesterday, and then Huadunk went the dang dynamite at about a quarter to 1 on this 12.43 candle. The selling came in fast and it came in furious. We did hold up at exactly 18.74, so 18.75 holds. We're weaseling up into that 19 area. Allow me to load this up, please, on my side chart, because it won't update the price for whatever reason unless it's on a watch list. Do better, IBKR. It's coming back into 19. It looks like it was a short to pop kind of sitch as it came into the 10 exponential on the 1 and then rejected. $19 coming in right now. Here comes, and there goes $19. So a lot of weakness. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with this because... Go.
Darwin putting this in the chat. I want to confirm this, but apparently the Eli Lilly CEO, shout out to my man, David Ricks. Yeah.
I saw that, but I didn't think it had anything to do with him.
That the weight loss drug is, because they have a weight loss drug too, right?
I know, but isn't this good?
You would think, but maybe it's like, their weight loss drug shortage, and so people are going to go to Lilly. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you for letting us know about that, Darwin, for sure.
The Katina Man is short Meta as it broke 500. So I was telling the Katina Man that there was 500 level that came in twice. Shout out to him. I hope he prints up a storm on that Meta short there. 500 double bottom, guys, on Meta. Keep your eye on that. But yes, thank you, Darwin. I did see this. I didn't make the connection, but thank you, Adara, for making that connection. Lilly CEO sees weight loss drug shortage ending, quote, very soon. No details given. Obviously, we'll keep tabs on that. Lilly reported yesterday?
No, they report next week. All my weight loss boys report next week. We got Novo on Wednesday. We got Lil's on Thursday. And then also VKTX is at some conference. So if you are a GLP-1 trader, if you're a GLP trader like myself, you're going to have a pretty fun week next week.
I love it. Yeah, and Wall Street expects a year-over-year increase in earnings on higher revenues when Eli Lilly reports results for the quarter ending June 24th. Adara letting you know exactly when that's going to happen. So the street, at least, looking positive here on what may come next week in terms of earnings. So we'll keep an eye on that. But HIMS, guys, continues to bleed. It's coming into 8.75 again. It's about 10 pennies away. Lots of buying at 8.75. It behooves us to load upset stock on a trading screen so we can weasel in and out of a trade should one be required. Is it on the NASDAQ? We'll find out. No, it's not. So it is on the NY. HIMS trades on the NYSE, in case you do not know, like me. So keeping an eye on this one. Lots of buying, as I said, 8.75. But I'm going to wait for that bottom to either give way or $19 to hold. Let's figure out exactly what this bad boy wants to do. It's down 10.5% on that headline. Ooh, big move down here, Dare.
Yeah, I mean, well, this happened there. I tried to take a Tesla short. I should have known better. I said I thought Tesla was reversing. We get to 221, we drop a bit below. I tried to take the short, took it with arguably too many shares, was not able to get out where I wanted to. Boo to me for that trade. But But does that mean everything's over? No, because as Obi always says, where's the next trade? And honestly, now I think it's long Tesla. That was my thesis anyway. It's like, girl, why are you going short? So as long as we can stay above 30s, I'm actually going to take this. I want to take a bit of a smaller position here because choices. So we're going to try to get involved here. If we can get to like, I don't know if we're going to get 51s. Let's try to get 55s. And I'm going to start that position. As long as I see stuff I like in the book and we stay nicely above that 30s area, I'm cool with sticking with this trade. Let's see Tesla push higher because, you know, sometimes as 50 Cent and Kanye have said, go ahead, switch the style up. If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. In this case, it won't be that much money. It's a smaller position. But you can't let setbacks set you back. You have to let them set you forward. I got shut down yesterday, like I said, and I'm really open to talk about that because as Sean is always saying, you want to be about honesty, accountability, openness. I wasn't proud of that, but I saw that as an opportunity. It was an opportunity to be like, what went wrong with my trading yesterday? I wasn't scalping enough. I wasn't trusting myself enough. Today, you have to have trust in yourself, and this trade didn't work out well because I was taking a low of day short. I mean, sure, I might have had levels, but it was more or less, I think, arguably for the heck of it, not with the levels I really should have had on it. So a little disappointed in myself for that. But you know what that means? You just got to keep on going. No more Tesla appointment, that's for sure. I want to get out 77s.
You want me to take over?
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm good. I want to see what we do here at 221.77s. If we can come back here and get to that level. I can't believe it's already almost 1 p.m., Sharif. What a fun, insane day we've had in these markets. And I have a feeling tomorrow, even though it's a Friday, is going to be even crazier because we've got Apple, or Big Mama, as Ryan Faluna called it from Benzinga. And I was like, oh, do you mean like Granny Smith? And then that was, I guess, was not really registered. But good look there for Apple tomorrow. We got Amazon, so I'm sure Obi will be saying, oh boy, potentially to that report. But yeah, interesting look here. Tesla bouncing beautifully. Like I said, I have an unfortunate tendency of getting long at areas that end up being resistance and short at areas that end up being support. That was not the case here. We keep bouncing off my entry level here in the book, so I'm good with this. Let's see if we can get to 77s. I would like to take out a piece before I add anything to this position. Seeing slightly lower highs here in the book, but now we're trying to grind into 70s. I know I feel a bit like an auctioneer or a stocktioneer, as someone once said in the chat, but sometimes you do that. Okay, Tesla, I just was canceled my order. I was about to actually move it a little bit lower, and Tesla's like, oh, Adara, did you want, I can give you 80s if you want. I'm like, Tesla, yes, I would love 80s. Yes, La. So I still have a third of this position in. I'm going to keep a piece of the dream, but it looks like we're really struggling with this 90 EMA. So you know what? My dream's over. My dream's dead. That sounded depressing. I'm actually really happy here, guys. You have a bad trade. It doesn't work out your way. You got to keep going. Keep pushing forward. RQBO saying we're going to bleed more. I don't disagree. That's why I wanted to take that long pop and dip out. But also, if you want to learn how to trade, and if you want to, have, not me yelling at you, I apologize. There's other ways to learn. Shout out to Real Trading.
There is. It's with the best dang prop firm in the world. Attention, Canadian traders. The Real Trading. Oh, it's not time yet? Oh, okay, Fabian. I thought it was already.
Guys, okay. Canadian traders don't come to attention yet. Just
all right, let's get back. All right, we got a couple of minutes for that. I'm keeping an eye on HIMS though, because that was a big move that it dropped down there into 1820, getting bought up, zigging and zagging. The volume is really picking up on HIMS since that Lilly headline came in at around 1:15. We've been 15 minutes deep in the sell-off. Really bewildering to me because I don't understand. I thought they offered Lilly's products. I guess they don't. Maybe they offer competitors, and well, maybe now that their Lilly's products is available, their competitor will get it. I have no idea. All we can do is trade the price action. It seems to now have resistance at 19. It's weaseled its way into 19 a couple of times after making the low of 18 3/4, and now it's rejected off 19. Now it's coming down 18.5, zigging and zagging a little bit here. Let's bring in the side chart to see where the MACD and everything is, because I'm going to basically consider this a small cap gapper because it's trading like one, and as a result I need to see what the sitch is. Okay, so great. We still have the MACD line well below the signal line, and if you're looking to trade these ones on a 1-minute chart, this is kind of how I'm looking at basically trying to employ MACD in my small cap gapper trading. It's going to be likely on a smaller time frame, and it's going to be super simple based upon the signal and the MACD line. More to come on that. Maybe we'll do a week on it or whatever. Yeah, but basically watching right now as it's holding up at around 8.5, 812 LOD, but I like this 19 look, $19 look here. As you can kind of see, we were defending 19 bucks, give or take, in that high 18 areas, and then boom, we tried to reclaim it with another high, and then that was the fake out breakout, and we got sent right back down. So we'll see if this one can curl right now, or it's going to be a kind of short the pop type of situation where you try to get in on the on the 10 exponential on the 5, guys. All right, let's get to it. Attention, Canadian traders. Now you can listen. The Real Trading Campus program is back. Are you ready to elevate your game? Our exclusive program is designed to transform you into a real trader. Dive deep into the market microstructure, explore diverse marketplaces, and master professional execution techniques. We'll focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully curated stock list to optimize your learning. As you progress, you'll gain access to an expanded range of symbols. That's pretty cool. From order types to venue exploration, we've got you covered. This isn't about chasing high flyers. It's about building a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't miss this opportunity to join our upcoming cohort and take your trading to the next level. And I will never forget when I showed up here the first day, I sent Neil a message in the chat like the day prior. I was like, Neil, I'm starting the next day. He probably doesn't remember this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Yeah. Neil, I'm starting the next day. Do you have any advice for me? And he said one thing. Listen to what Greg says. And Greg, in case you guys don't know, he used to be the floor manager before Brenkels took over and Wayne took over Brenkels' job. And basically that was... What's wrong with that? Greg's all right, man. Come on. I miss that guy. Shout out to Mr. McEwen. Out there in MTL now doing his thing.
Oh, Montreal.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah.
So let's get back into trading here. Thanks, obviously. Shout out to Real Trading, basically the best prop firm around. And if you are in Canada, give that one a look. And I saw you guys in the chat this morning with the VPN talk. I saw that. I have nothing to say about it, but I did see it. And I chuckled a little bit. Say that again, Fabian. Ready when you are. With what? I don't know what
I'm confused.
I don't know what you're talking about, Fabian. I did the... Oh! All right. This is... You guys may know her as Ram. And, sometimes she comes into work. She's a little bit tired. And, I told you the video was going on today. And when I saw the Chilean Nightmare on the 1s and 2s, I was like, yes! Perfect. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
Ha! Sorry, guys.
Yes, you're short. I think she's in the same position as you, and you guys are printing up a storm. Get it, Adara.
I only got part filled, so this is actually not as exciting as it needs to be P&L-wise, but I don't really care. I'm so proud of this position. I want to shout out a new view in the chat saying netted out breaking 500. I saw basically what I was seeing with some lower highs here and some, with a bit of a flat bottom, so I decided I want to get in that flat bottom break. I do want to shout out a new view in the chat, giving me a new view on Meta. If we can get back to that $4.99, I will take $1 on this. Again, not like a massive position because I only got part filled, but sometimes you get your part fill and you got to be pleased as punch. You got to feel fulfilled by the part fill. There we go. Let's see if we get filled here on Meta.
Okay.
If not, I can just take my $4.99s. I'm cool with that. But man, that was a fun trade to be a part of. Sometimes you got to take these types of trades. I would love to be in that dollar club with you, Sean. We'll see if Meta can give me my little fill. Let's see what happens as we get into 500. Sorry, guys, for getting so excited, but these markets are so exciting, and I do feel energized by being able to be a part of them, being able to be with this awesome community every single darn day. Jeez. Again, not a huge trade profit-wise because of just the part fill situation, but that doesn't even matter. It's like about the process. It's about I saw it, I wanted it, I got in, I made the effort to get in, and so I do want to shout out this whole community and also shout out to Sean, who is also hanging out in Mark Zuckerberg's DMs right now. Let's see what we do here. I don't know if Meta's going to give me my $4.99s, but I'm going to be patient because I'm not seeing anything to make me run for the hills in this trade again. I want to shout out, once again, a new view in the chat. I love that our community has so many different you know what I mean? People who are looking at different stocks.
Sure, yeah.
And again, apologies for yelling there. Thank you, Meta. Appreciate you, Meta.
Down it goes. Nice, Adara. I see that is about to fill there. Print up a storm on the Zuck train. We could not be happier for you. Speaking for myself, obviously, and for everybody cheering for you there in the chat, as well as the people behind us smashing that desk. I'm talking about you, BPI. Big Patty Ice. Love talking to that guy, by the way. More to come on that. But here we go. I'm keeping an eye now on a new... What's going on, Meta? Well, all right. Well, let's have a look at the Meta. Oh, wow, Meta. Meta is...
I'm getting $1.50. Because I thought I had. Yeah, I thought I had 499.01s. It turns out I actually had 498.01s. Then I was like, oh, okay, well, let's get 498.50. So I did that. I'm happy with that trade. Sorry for interrupting.
You should be, because that's a hell of a trade there. Shout out to the Katina Man and Adara printing up a storm on the Zuck train, as it is now it's $30 off the high. 527 HOD, 497 now. The Katina Man said that trade is too easy. And like, look, I yelled out to him, I'm like, double bottom on 500. I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have traded this way. Full disclosure, I would have been looking to go long. Shows you that how much I know, right? I was looking double bottom, like, oh yeah, look, it's defending 500. Not really thinking that 500 level was just, a few weeks ago. It's a rinse and repeat level. It's not like it's a brand new level. So shout out to the two of them, printing up a storm on that. I didn't take it, but if I took it, I would have been in some trouble right now. So that's the truth. Now I'm looking at TWG, because this one just showed up on my scanner and it's all sorts of ziggy and zaggy. The range per candle is wild, but you can see there's a whole bunch of respect here for whatever reason with the volume weighted average price. This one started its life at around 87 pennies and now it's weaseling its way into $1.20. Let me tell you about this company, Top Wealth Group Holding. They are engaged in the supply of caviar. Okay, cool. $35 million market cap, 9.1 million share float. Let's find out if there's a short float there. Yeah, I know. Caviar? Where? I want some caviar. Wow. No short float there. Meta is apparently tanking as I look at my side chart. 497 just went. Oh, baby. Nvidia as well, 110 on Nvidia. 110 incoming on Nvidia. The Katina Man is still short 115er on Nvidia, so he's like $5 on the money.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. $3 in the money on Meta as that one continues to flush, breaking down through 497. See that on the side chart. But I'm going to be looking to look. Yeah, I'll be looking to look, Adara. I'll be looking to look. I haven't done it before, but I'm going to start doing it now. I'm going to put an order for a dip trade. Let's see at 110, Adara. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, this has been so much fun. I just really want to shout out, everybody here in the chat. Like I said, Anuvu for mentioning this and having, inspired me to look at this side chart. And I want to say to you, I actually had a different strategy for how to trade this. Obviously, it ended up being different because I ended up getting filled for a fifth of the position that I wanted, and so I wasn't able to get part fills. Oh. But basically, the initial plan here was I wanted to kind of piece in and out, have a bit more of a more sustained position, ended up getting out $1.50 in the money. So really happy with this. Again, it's not about the size of the share. Bang. It's about the intention of the trade and trying to get involved. And yeah, that's why I ended up getting out of the short there. It's just because I didn't have enough shares for me to really be able to lock in some profit. So I said, just take the profit now and leave. If there's another, let's say rejection of that, 499 was kind of interesting. Maybe I'll consider it, but I don't want to rush into another trade here. I also want to shout out Bears versus Bulls. SPY, your favorite? Yeah, I mean, I do love the SPY. I had fun trading the SPY today. The SPY coming back to a new whole dollar level, so I have to keep an eye on that. Also saying, when's the last time you traded Stressla? I just tried to get it on Stressla and then ended up not getting filled. Happy I didn't, because 221 can do something for Stressla. It's holding it right now. Now trying to reject a little bit, but right now, I'm going to take a deep breath, let these markets do their wild thing, 21, and I am going to take a look here at our fabulous lesson on gap filling. But as Fabian said in my ear, no one ever asked how the gaps are feeling. So how are you feeling, gaps in the market? Meta Gap, how are you feeling? Because you've been a little bit smaller than you were initially this morning. I think the Meta Gap is like a sweater you put in the wash too many times. Get a little shrunk there. But weird puns notwithstanding, let's talk about this lesson. So what is gap filling? It occurs when the price of a security has retraced to fill the void created by a previous gap. And it's basically like if the market is correcting an imbalance and restoring equilibrium. It's bringing peace and prosperity. It's like the Avengers when they take on Thanos. They're trying to, I haven't even seen those movies, but you want to bring the world back to a whole. That's what's happening there. So here's one example of a common gap fill. You had a gap, had a common gap, came to a random level, we gap up. Oh.
The Katina Man's done with his meta trade. Just wanted to update. Yep. Okay, well, he's still got 20%.
80% done. Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to shout him out. Yeah, shout out to Sean for that trade.
Get it, Katina Man.
Yeah, so we have a common gap here. We gap up. Oh, that's cool. Make a lower high. Oh, is it new trend? No, we just continue to chop and churn. So this is an example of a common gap fill for the Nifty. So that is a nifty 50. So let's talk as well about this exhaustion gap fill, because we have so many different types of gaps. What happens when they fill? We had an exhaustion gap, the trend running out of steam going, trend having a bit of a yawn there. Then we have a bullish island reversal, and we fill this gap here. We have the breakaway gap, and we fill the gap. So interesting look there. But how do we talk now about these types of gaps and gap filling? So common gaps are the most likely to fill because they do often represent temporary imbalances. Breakaway gaps are less likely to fill completely because it is the sign of a whole brand new trend, but they can partially they can partially fill, but they can also partially fill. And that can help them create a new support or resistance levels. Exhaustion gaps are worth noting as well because these gaps are often followed by a price move in the opposite direction, which can potentially, of course, lead you to a fill of their gap. Let's talk about some of the reasons for gap filling, though, because there are different factors that can contribute, including market corrections. So you've got a rapid price movement, the market's running like up a storm, and then you've got the market undergoing a correction to rebalance supply and demand. AMD yesterday on earnings. What about volume, profit taking? So you've got a trader, they've entered positions after the gap, and now they want to take the profits as the price retraces. They're like, I don't want to lose my profit, gotta go, gotta run. So interesting look there. What as well, though, about institutional rebalancing, right? So we've got these large institutional investors, the hedge funds, what have you, potentially rebalancing their positions, and that can lead to price movements that fill gaps because they have a little bit more moolah in the game there. So let's talk as well about IDing potential gap fills because not every gap will fill, but however, there are certain indicators that can suggest a potential probability or a higher probability there of a gap fill. So an example is a gap size. A smaller gap is more likely to fill than a larger one. You also have to keep in mind volume because low trading volume during the gap formation can increase the likelihood of a gap fill. Why? Because it means there weren't that many people trying to buy up that gap. There wasn't that enthusiasm with that gap. It just means like couple people here, couple people there. It wasn't like I remember one time we looked at Eli Lilly's volume on gaps, and its largest gap there was on an earnings win because there was like a lot of volume there as well. So interesting look there. Of course, I'm mentioning volatility, but shout out to them. They're having a good day as well. I can pull up that chart after. But trend strength is also worth noting because a weakening trend can increase the probability of a gap fill. Why? Because the intensity with which the gap was created has now petered out a little bit. So now there's a potential for that here gap to fill. Let's talk as well about support and resistance levels because gaps that coincide with strong support or resistance are more likely to be filled because there's already some levels going on there previously. Let's talk about okay. So here, how do you trade gap fills? They can be profitable, but they carry risk. So a couple of different strategies include buying the dip. For upward gaps, you might want to buy near the lower gap boundary. That could be a potential strategy, but there's also selling the rally. So in downward gaps, you might want to sell near the upper gap and get involved there. Also, those stop loss orders are worth noting. You might want to place stop loss orders to manage risk and beware of false signals, fake out breakouts or fake out gap fills. I don't know, fake fill, but not all gaps will fill. So be prepared for potential losses that can, of course, losses can always transpire. I want to quickly look at my girl Lily before I pass over to Sharif here because I had eyes on this one and then forgot to take a look at it. It's LLY, I think it was IK in the chat saying Lily pumping. Yeah, we did have CEO David Ricks, shout out to D Ricks, being like, yo, we think that weight loss shortage is gonna, drug shortage is gonna end soon. Look at the support bounce. Look at this, like D Ricks is giving his stock a nice little love there. Look at this bounce here off 822.50s. Oof. That was such a level of support. Spread here is disgusting. It's over $1.50, or it's about $1.50. But interesting look there on L to the L to the Y. I'm not involved in anything right now, guys. I'm sorry. SPY coming back to a whole dollar level, so I might get involved in that. Shout out to Ricky Peters saying I'm a SPY shark. Yeah, I'm trying to smell that blood in the water and then get involved. So I love analogies. Shout out to you there, Mr. Ricky Peters. Hope you're having a great day. Hope everyone in the chat's having a great day. I am short the SPY. We'll see how this comes to fruition. But what are you looking at right now? How's Pfizer going?
I'm looking at HIMS. Well, Pfizer's okay.
You don't have to answer.
Yeah, it's not bad. We're not out of the money or anything, but it's kind of, how Pfizer trades.
Yeah.
1880. I missed this. I was trying to get in here. It's a little spready for an $18 name. It's about 5 pennies or so. I'm talking about HIMS selling off aggressively midday as a result of some Lilly headline that apparently is negative for the company. Don't really get that, but doesn't really matter if I get it or not. There's a double top there at 1880, and it was an obvious level of price action support there. Price action support in and around that level, and then we come back into that 1818 and we reject. So I was trying to get short there. There was this obvious area that we rejected earlier. We're weaseling our way up now. I'm keeping my eye on this level. If we break above 1818, we could easily retrace into the 10 exponential or VWAP, which is at 1950, but I'm still looking short on this name. HIMS is the one that I'm looking at. Very disappointed with myself. I was not able to get that entry there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. What I'm going to be looking for is a new candle make a new low because we're in no man's land here. We're not at the key area of technical resistance. We're not at support at 18. We're in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know how this zigs and zags. So either we come into 1880, break it or reject it, or we come back into 18 now that I've lost my trade at 1880. So keeping an eye on that one. We are curling though, guys, a little bit here. I'm not calling, this could be the umbrella pattern that Adara calls it. I'm not saying that it's going to be one, but these big moves down, we hook up and then we short the pop. So I'm looking for a possible retracement of this one. If it breaks 1880 on a closing basis, I'm going to be looking 19.25, 19.5, either the 10 or the 10 exponential on the 5 or the volume weighted average price at around 19.5. So pack in my patience with this one, but I like this midday move, HIMS. And by the way, if you're with Real Trading, it's a free shorts type of sitch here.
Really?
Yeah. You don't need to go get your you don't need a floor manager to get you shorts, although the Katina man and the Neil always hook me up, and I could not be more grateful. But keeping my eye on this one as it weasels its way up. Chill vibes. Can you tell the triple Q is trying to fill the gap from yesterday on the down side? It looks like it is, my man. I didn't actually look at that. Maybe we'll have a look now. I've got to remove, obviously, pre-market and aftermarket trading. I don't need, thank you, Neil. You don't need shorts for him. Yeah, I was just mentioning. Yeah, that is a gnarly looking candle. Was still above yesterday's low, and we made a higher high. So even though this is a really ugly day, we still made a higher high, and we still have a higher low from yesterday. So looking at it on the daily candle really puts it into perspective, even though there's all sorts of selling. Let's remove the pre-market and aftermarket price action, have a look at this gap that's being talked about. Here we go. Okay. So interesting look there. Yeah, definitely filling that bad boy up, but still it's curling up a little bit here. Not making a call in the future. That's what I see. I see higher highs and higher lows from yesterday, even though it's a very, very red looking day here. So not much I can do with that on an intraday basis anyway, but yeah, keep your eye out. Though I should probably mention the low from yesterday because we could find support here if we continue to make it down. So obviously 19,000 is in focus now because we're 19,019 as the low. But if 19 gives way, this is the low from yesterday, which I definitely will have eyes on, 18,802. That is the low of yesterday's green candle before we popped up bigly in the aftermarket and in the afternoon yesterday. So good luck there. All right, keeping an eye on the future. Let's flip back to HIMS here, see what the sitch is. All right, we're continuing to reject off 1880. If this rejects again, I'm going short here. I don't have to wait for the 10 exponential or VWAP because there is a seller here, and I don't see it on the book. So it's clearly an iceberg. There's no size here. There's no size whatsoever. You're going to have to look at the tape to see what kind of big boy size is coming through on the print because you're not going to get it there on the book. So I'm watching it over here to see if we do reject this 1880, 18 4/5 and weasel our way up into 19 and change, or we give way here, Dare. So I'm packing my patience. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not in any trades right now. I'm waiting and watching. I had that short on the SPY. I was pleased as punch. Got out, I think I took like just over 30 pennies with the first 2/3 of the position, got the rest out about just over 40 pennies in the money. But I got out because I was noticing we were about to get 50s. Now, I'm actually looking now for a long on the SPY, if you could believe that. And that's because we've tested the 50s. I've seen us test it now 3 times on the book. First time we broke below, got back above. That's when I left the trade. Then we came up again, bounced. Now we've bounced again, and we're making higher highs every time we're bouncing. I don't want to rush into this trade because the market can do market things, but every time we kind of weasel our head below, we come right back up and bounce. This could, of course, be, this could be a false bounce. This could be actually still reversing, but I'm happy I got out of the trade where I did because I wouldn't have wanted to stay with that. I think this is, there's something brewing on the SPY here, and that's why I'm not rushing into any trades on any names. I want to wait until I feel confident, comfortable, confident, whatever, in my trade. But also, like, imagine you have a name you're looking at, and you're like, I wonder what the big kahunas, Sean and Neil, would have to say about it. There's a way you could find that out. Maybe. If you vote, you could be one of the lucky 5 tickers to have your stock looked at there on the afternoon show in our new audience segment, which is brought to you by our lovely sponsor, Real Trading. Get in the chat, ! join, space, $, whatever ticker you're looking for. Maybe it's Amazon, I don't know. Maybe it's Nvidia. Maybe you want to hear about Hams and Meta. Whatever ticker you're interested in, get in that chat. Get your voice heard, vote. We believe in a democratic system over here at Trader TV Live, and as long as you subscribe, you can be voting. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for making sure everybody gets their votes in there, doing a great job, killing it every day. The SPY now coming back to, this is our previous low of day here is 37s. We're kind of wicking above 37s now. I'm kind of intrigued by the SPY, but I don't have a direction yet, so I want to wait. Nvidia losing 110. Thank you to Chill Vibes for pointing this out to me. I was just looking at Nvidia here. I thought it was getting a little spicy. Oh, Nvidia, look at these 9 EMA rejections. I have no words. I am speechless. I know, right? I'm speechless. But no, this market is just giving you some wild moves here, and you have to be really prepared to be able to catch them. The one I've been looking at, other than the SPY, which believe me, I have eyes on. If we get to that 542, you guys know I like those whole dollar levels. But also, coming into an interesting level is Tesla. I was talking about Tesla 220, because Tesla 220 was a level from whence we bounced a couple days ago. And Sharif and I were both talking about it, like, hey, did you see how Tesla couldn't get below 220? We both did. That being said, I don't want to hop into a Tesla long here because yikes. But if we break below that 220, I think that could be spicy, and I want to see what we do. As I've said, Tesla has certain, cent levels that get interesting. Today and yesterday, it's been the 30-cent level. Every time we get whatever, like 220 30s, some kind of bounce or chop and turn. 221 30s, bounce or chop and turn. I'm not going to go through every price level of Tesla, but rest assured, that has been the pattern. So I want to keep an eye on Tesla here. We're trying to bounce off 30s. If we come back to 50s, reject 30s, I'm kind of interested in this here. I have my eyes on Tesla, I have my eyes on the SPY. Definitely need SPY drops today. I want to shout out again there. 2 Bears versus Bulls for that fabulous pun. But yeah, I apologize not being in any trades right now. Trying to be a little bit more alert, aware, awake. As Drake says, scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money.
Yeah, this is a hell of an awake third hour you've got, eh? Usually you're
usually I'm zonked by this hour. Yeah, I find the less sleep I get, the more awake I am for reasons I don't know. But this market keeping you awake too.
Clearly, right?
Yeah.
Market's up.
It's because my brain thinks it needs 15 hours. That's why, because I see Neil doing the hand on chin. Yeah, because my brain thinks it needs 15 hours. Any hour is fine for it. How are you doing?
Good, fantastic. I'm pleased. Keeping an eye on 1880. I'm just watching this level like a hawk, Fabian, because 1880 keeps coming in and keeps rejecting. So I'm very happy with this level if we continue to reject. This is kind of like the umbrella pattern, except it's not. Yeah, I know. I shouted you out. I shouted you out. Yeah. I was looking for a deeper retracement. Truth be told, that level, I was looking either for the 10 exponential, maybe 1910. Give or take, at least get me to 19, but it doesn't want to. So it looks like it's going to print a new low. If we make a new candle to make a new low below this one over here, I'm going to take the short below the 50 level. Let's go ahead and put that in. I might regret this, not having gotten a better level, but here we go. On this name, we're looking short 50s if we break that 50. So let's go maybe like that and then like this. Okay, well, we put that in there. So if it does get in below 50, we'll get short. I just don't want to make a mistake because this one's putting in higher lows. That's my concern. But I'm very interested on him. The volume's still holding up a little bit. And there's a key area of technical resistance. I really like this area. Could have printed on it if I had gotten short about 30 pennies, but I don't think that's the move here. I think the move is to try to get down at least into low of day because it's not able to pop up. There isn't the bid, at least for the moment. Here we go. Coming into 50s again. I've got an order, a resting order to go short below 50 because that would be a new candle, make a new low. And here we go again. Zigging and zagging. Looks like there might be a buyer, an iceberg at around 50. They're right now 53s. I'm seeing big boy prints coming at 55s. They're on multiple different gateways. You can disregard the ones with D. Those are D prints. Here we go. Here comes. So there's some buying still at 50. My only concern is this dips. All right, here we are. So I don't know what the hell that just. So I guess I typed it in wrong because it triggered, but it triggered at $180 something. So I think I put 118, not 18. So my mistake there. Keeping an eye on this one is it zigs and zags a little bit between 50, 1850. That is. Sorry, I'm just packing my patience here. I don't know exactly how this resolves, so I'm going to continue to watch a little bit. Okay, we're still holding up at 50, but did we make a new low? Yeah, so this one would have to be, this would be a 30 penny risk if I was to get in here, because I'd give it to 1880. It couldn't hold. If it couldn't hold that 1880 short, I'd have to get out. This was a better entry, though. I'm just thinking out loud, guys, and I'm sorry I'm taking you through this whole thing. But it's now broken down below that low. Or did it? No, it didn't. It didn't, actually. What's the low of this candle? Sorry, now we have a third candle that I have to deal with here, and here it comes back to the high side again. All right, so gonna take out the order on that one. Let's check how Pfizer's doing. All right, we're doing really well here on the Pfizer one. Okay, so we're at 65. How much do we have left on this one? All right, so if I take it, this is my last out on Pfizer. I'm gonna take it out here. So nice. So we just took like about 15 pennies. We waited about 2 hours for that, but that's how Pfizer trades. You should have known that. I should have known that, I guess. So we'll take it out at 64s. Not much doing there. We're done with that trade. Still keeping an eye on HIMS here. I'm still very interested in this level. I'm just unsure how to trade it. Okay, so I'm seeing a bunch of topping tail candles with 1880 as definite resistance, previously support on that way down, but it's not really curling with any aggression. If I get short here, I'll have to give it to 1880. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe wait for a little bit of a pop. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I had a SPY short, got out of said SPY short because it wasn't its time yet in the sun. I still don't know if it is its time. SPY trying to hold on to 542 with its teeth. It's like, low of day right now, 541.98. So that's what I mean. Like, we'll wick into it and then we can't hold it. I liked it. Didn't work out, lost 8 pennies on it. Happy I got it where I did, though, because it's like if you don't feel good about it, you don't feel good about it. Now the SPY is dropping. I am not there for it, but it's fine. I didn't feel good about the trade. I can live with that. CrowdStrike, though, I'm trying to get short on, and I want to explain why. This 90 MA rejection, right? We're rejecting 224s. Am I getting filled? Almost definitely no. I am not, but that's okay. If we come back to 224s reject, I'm going to get back, or not back. I haven't been involved. I want to get involved because I think with this, we have the lower highs, we have the topping tail candles. I would give this into 224.50 because that was that previous area of support. I think that's a fair risk level, but I don't want to get involved at a price I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. Unless we get to I'd get involved in 224s and or 223.75s. I was trying to get involved in 223.75s, or I guess 85s, and CrowdStrike was like, nope. Nope, the strike isn't right. I'm like, okay, chill, guys. But also, I would like to shout out here, who's this in the chat? There is someone in the chat tagging, and I can not, where did this chat go? Charlie Taff was asking about 220, I believe Tesla for a swing. I think that was him. Tesla just broke below the 220 here on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the swing. Oh, okay, I actually might want to be shorting Tesla while I take a look at this, so I'm gonna pop into this. Let's see, I want to see one more little loop-a-doop. Yeah, okay, we'll get involved. So there we go. Tesla, though, here, well, look at all the fills I've had today. On the daily chart, let's zoom out here to get a look at the Tesla one before I take a page from Sharif's book. I don't mind this Tesla 220 level. Like I said, I found Tesla, though, to be a little interesting about around 226 because that has been, for whatever reason, a gap level a couple times there. And when we eventually did break below 226 when we had a breakdown recently, but we fought for that 226 to hold it. So I don't know, that 226 to me a little bit more interesting, but 220 as well, clearly holding a support. I tried to get short on that rejection, and Tesla was like, nope. So yeah, right now we're like 20 pennies out of the money, like more like 10, 15. I want to wait and see what we do in the book. There's nothing screaming at me to get out of this yet. I want to see us curl back below the 220 and get involved. Wow, the SPY, though, back at 542. That does not want to give up this level. Maybe I should be rethinking some of these shorts here. I'm going to get out of Tesla here, out of the stressful one. As I'm noticing, we're clinging on to 220. Happy I tried it. Happy I managed it appropriately. Where's the next trade? As Obi says, CrowdStrike, you ready for me? Okay, CrowdStrike's well above. Yeah, I don't know if you have any different opinions because I feel like I'm not always as good at reading swing stuff. But I think, yeah, for 220 could be interesting for Tesla. We're clearly holding it as support. But I like 226 in the daily as well.
For Tesla?
Yeah, I think that was Charlie Taff was asking about that because I don't feel like as good about swing reads.
Let's have a look.
Oh yeah, so Charlie Taff, he said he is in Tesla just below 220 for a swing. Yeah, I mean that level like held on the intraday for sure. I think I'm seeing like we talked about that as well recently. So yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at. Sorry about this. I don't know why it's not letting me out. Okay. I'm just trying to remove the pivot point so that you can see the chart undisturbed. There we go. Now we got it. Good stuff, Sharif. You can do it. Not a boy. All right, here we go. So number one, I need to show you this. because this is Neil's downward channel on Tesla. And I like very, very much a believer in this downward trend line. You do have these outlying events like the one that happened over here in late 2022, early 2023, and you have the one that just popped up now when we got the robo-taxi news and then we ended up flushing right back down. But here's a look. Let's extend this trend line over here. Let's remove this horizontal one and let's extend this bad boy because we need to see where said trend line is hanging. We are right at that trend line, Charlie. We did breach it over here, but holding at the 50. And again, you know, with these trend lines, especially when they move over a period of years, like this trend line starts in mid-2021, there's zones, not prices, right? We got to always keep that in mind. And you're going to have these outliers that are going to get you in trouble, like the one over here and the one over here. And forget about this one. This one didn't actually breach. This is a split. That's that 3-to-1 split that they put back in August of 2022. So you didn't actually get a breach in and around here. But anyway, point is, this trend line is really kind of jiving with that 220, which is why you had a whole bunch of buying out there. Now, my only concern is you got a rounded top, and we know the rounded top, eek, ugly. Shout out to the NOS boss. And then you got another area crest here lower than the previous area crest. So my concern is that this like flushes aggressively. So I like your look. I know that we're above this trend line for now. What I would look for here personally, yeah, this is a tough one because I would basically say look for a break of this 210 area on a closing basis, but you give up so much that way. I like your short. I think, you know, Tesla probably bleeds a little bit here as we zig a zag in the summer. I personally don't think we make a new high on the NQ or these markets maybe until the fall post-election. It's not really election specific. If you go and have a look at what we did last year, we tanked in July and we didn't reclaim those highs, until the fall, until November. We did very similar things the year prior, but keep in mind the 2 years prior, there was a lot of that stimmy money, right? So the stimmy money had a different effect on the market. So I like your short, Charlie. I hope you print up a storm. With respect to beak wetting, let's talk about where you could wet your beak on some profits here. Personally, if you were to get short here, the first level I'm looking at is at 210 because you have an area trough there. You could find support. And then below that 210 area, I'm looking definitely at that 205 and change. You have all these topping tail candles there. Reject 205. So $5 areas, but I think that should be quite good. So I hope you absolutely print on it. Let me know how that all works out for you. My man T Money, moment of silence for Nvidia, please.
Be very solemn.
Not been a good day for Nvidia, Dara.
No.
6 1/3 in negatory land, but this monster was up 15 some odd %. We're still above yesterday's lows, guys, and that's what I want to really say to you. I mean, oh, hold on. We're getting into yesterday. We're at yesterday's low. What is this? That's the institutional print at 8 a.m. And we're right there. So this 108 level, 108 2/3, this was the 8 a.m. print, the institutional print right at 8 a.m. and we hold there exactly. Wow, that's interesting. Didn't notice that. But yeah, that's a gnarly retracement, kind of a double top when you view it a bit zoomed out there with the highs from yesterday's aftermarket and this morning's pre-market being awfully close to one another. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Freddie, the friendly guy, another green candle on Nvidia on the 3-minute bottom in question mark. Oh, baby. Well, look, I just finished saying it. I mean, there is obviously some support over here, given that we're holding up at the 8 a.m. print at 108 2/3. Let's zoom in on that 8 a.m. print and find out exactly what the sitch was. There it is. Is that the one? No, what level is this? 109. Okay, so there it is. Where's my 8 a.m. print from 109 from yesterday? There it is. All right, so right here, the low of this candle is exactly 108.63. The low today, 108.43. So interesting. Now, do we curl up from here? Still not above the 10. Still not above the 20. No new highs. No higher lows. So I'm going to go ahead and say, no, you haven't even reclaimed the 10. Right? And you're not even above 110, the $10 level. So, you know, if I had to guess, I'm going to say no, but that's all that it is, a guess. Nick Dub, could you look at Roku? I thought it had a good support here, or it had good support, excuse me. Let's have a look. Oh, dang. There goes HIMS, eh? Yeah.
So there's another way you guys could look at stocks if you want
how?
To see how with in the afternoon. There's another way you can get people.
Oh, thank you, Adara. We didn't do that all day because we're trading up a storm. Get into the chat. Sorry, Adara.
It's okay.
Into the chat right now and have your say. The big kahunas are going to be locked and loaded at the big desk, and they're going to be ready to look at the tickers as decided by you guys. So if you don't know, you can vote every day from 11 until about 1:50 for the tickers that you want talked about by Neil, by Sean. I get up on that big screen. I gesticulate wildly, as Adair likes to say, and then I throw it over to the big kahunas, who then look at the trade for you. So if you want that looked at by Neil and Sean, get into the chat right now and have your say. Let's look at Roku for Big Nick Dub. Let's go ROKU. Let's see what the situation is on this one. So Nick's like, yo, I thought there was a good area of support here. Let's zoom out a bit. Let's see what Nick's talking about. Okay, so I'm already seeing what you're seeing, Nick. There, back on the 24th and 25th, we had a bit of a support area at 55 1/3, but it looks like we already broke that, Nick, because the low of this bad boy over here is, well, we're about to break 55, or it looks like here. Let me just load up Roku on the side chart over here because it doesn't update the price for whatever reason. There we go. So now we're breaking through 55, Nick. And that's not what you want to see because that support level was supposed to be made for 55. So let's zoom out a little bit more. Find out what the deal is here, hourly. All right, Nick. So the last time we were below 55, well, the area, 55 is an important level, man. Because 55 was basically the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders that we saw manifest between June 12th and June 26th. We got basically 55 was a neckline. We couldn't break that key area of technical resistance. And then look over here, Nick Dub, we come into 55 again. So this is a very important area. I wouldn't be so quick to assume we give up 55 here, because it's been holding up for a long time. So I'd look for a possible retracement. You're not going to see me with resting orders, though, at that level. It's going to have to prove to me that it wants to hold up above 55, but I like how you're thinking. There's umpteen amount of interactions with 55 over here, all over here, again over here, and then today we also interacted with it previously in the spring around end of April. So you let me know, wow, Roku's been consolidated for that long. The whole year, Adara, essentially from February onwards, has been holding 60, let's say 5 to the high side, and then 55 to the low side. $10 worth of consolidation on ROKU for the better part of 6 months.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, we had that move down in the market. I have $1 in the money on CrowdStrike right now as a result of that. I took profit out probably could have given it more. I think it took like 30 pennies in the money in this first out. Took it out at the bottom of that. Oh my gosh, CrowdStrike, CrowdStrike. Basically, yeah, so I caught myself off there as CrowdStrike broke lower. I got involved here because, like I said, I like the 90 EMA breakdown. We got into 224.20s, and I was going to risk till 50s. We couldn't even get above 20s, and why I like that 20s level is because we kept wicking into that earlier. I said, okay, Adara, chill, breathe, stay in the trade. Took profit out at 60s. That was planned because that was the bottom of that range previously. I was willing to add, but CrowdStrike really didn't give you the opportunity. We come and we break lower. I don't like this little bounce we're getting here in these markets. We're going to try to get around, like, let's say 74s. I'm okay with that. But pleased as punch here with this CrowdStrike trade. Was able to get more than $1 on this trade. And this is a larger position for me for CrowdStrike as well.
Nice.
Not like a massive position, but it was one that with a spreadier name like CrowdStrike, I'm not usually comfortable taking. But, as Sean says, scared trader is a deficient trader. Scared money don't make money, and so I wanted to make some money. I said, Adara, what happened? Worst case scenario, you risk, it doesn't work out. Best case scenario, you risk and it does. So that's what I did there. Let's see if I can get my 74 fill here in my random specific area here on CrowdStrike. If not, I'm willing to get out at a different level. Also, I tried to take that SPY 542 breakdown. Once again, was not able to get it, and then we got the breakdown. So, okay, out of CrowdStrike. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's been such a fun day of trading, and I want to shout out as well against Refrain, that awesome CrowdStrike trade off that VWAP projection. So good look there. SPY breaking lower. Look at this. This is called an L. I tried to go short 542 breakdown. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work. I get out. I'm like, focus on CrowdStrike. Then CrowdStrike drops. I'm like, oh, what did the SPY do here? SPY dropped. Sometimes it happens, and you gotta laugh about it. Obviously, am I proud of it? No. But will I aggressively journal about it and learn? Yes, I will. And sometimes that's got to be the goal. Tesla, I haven't even paying any attention to you because I've been stricken with CrowdStrike. But Tesla here.
What happened, Katina, man?
Quadunk. Let's see what we do here. 218.50s, chopping, churning, living, learning. Let's see if we get our 30 bounce here in Tesla. Do we get the 30 bounce? We get the 30 bounce. Like I said, Tesla's been having that weird 30 cent area. I didn't go long said 30 bounce, but if we break below said 30, okay, now Tesla, you want me to give the 30s? I'm going to have to keep an eye on you over here. Sorry for the excitement, guys, but this market has just been so wild. If there's any tickers that you have your eye on during this wild west, you've got only 10 minutes left to get in that chat and to vote for them. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers are fancy. Also, as Tesla chips and chops here around these 30s, I'm very tempted to take a short. I have the order ready. Let's see if my trigger finger gets tempted here and we get to break below here as Tesla whiffles and it waffles. How are you doing? What are you
Good. I just shorted the dead one on Apple. Took that at 20s. We took about 40 pennies there as it dips down well below 18s. Well, took it out too early, obviously, because we're about to break the low of day. Here it comes. And we just did break the low of day, Katina, man. 217.53. This thing is on the way down. Tesla's on the way down. The soft one's on the way down. Meta's on the way down. Everything is bleeding up a storm right now. And I believe we did break 19,000, excuse me, but my thing is not updating. Oh, we broke 19,000, all right. 18,916 LOD at the moment. And there is not a bid to be had on the futures. Meg 7, I was going to say or otherwise, but I haven't looked at every single stock in the market. But this is the look on the futures. We haven't touched the 20 exponential once today on the NQ September contract on the 5-minute chart. That to me has got to be some sort of record. I don't think I've seen something like this. 2.87 to the negative side. And believe it or not, we still haven't gotten, oh, let me just zoom out here, 30-minute. I want to look at yesterday's price action on the NQ. Here it is. We are still above yesterday's low, believe it or not. If you want to use 18.8 as your level there, because there's a double bottom at 18.8, go ahead and use it. But this candle over here, right at I believe 15, is basically 4 o'clock. Because Central Time, we dipped into 18.723. I'm going to say 18.8 looks like a better level to me as a key area of support, but we could easily be there because given the amount that we've retraced already, we're 800 points lower than we were at the high this morning. 19,717 HOD, 18,916 LOD. That's a hell of a U-shaped retracement. I would say Christmas tree, but it has too much of a nice little rounded top. Shout out to Big Spile Burdette, who just messaged me. He's like, dude, if people don't think the winds of change are come on this market, what are they thinking? And Big Spile, you might absolutely be right on that. Again, you know, I'm thinking a little bit differently here, more of like a micro rather than a macro, looking at how my stocks perform. Completely, I don't really care about the entire market. I'm not in the indexes at all in my long-term portfolio, just specific names. So to me, bleeding on a name more important than bleeding on the market. So we'll see how Apple can do today after said earnings. And it has been definitely a tough time for them in China. I think that's going to be the make or break factor. We'll see if that ends up being anything. All right, let's flip back and let's look at some of the names we've been trading. HIMS catching a bit of a bounce here at 8 and a fifth. Looking to get back into that 8.5 with that gnarly resistance level at 1880. I said 8, I meant 18. I apologize. 1880 is where we're going to look to get short again. There was a lot of selling in and around there. What are you guys looking at, though, in the chat? We have about 15 minutes left on the show. Let's see what people are talking about. Jonathan Greenwald says Nvidia to 106 looking likely. You're not wrong, John, because we have a 107.41 LOD. So likely you might be right there. What do we got? Virgo says TMUS, high a day. Not you, T-Mobile. No way. Let's find out what
They're day 2 earnings, I think.
That makes sense, Adara. That makes sense. Let's have a look at TMUS. Yes, very much at that high of day, guys. Good look for them. Let's wait for this bad boy to load up any day now. Here it is. There we go. Yeah, 185.25. Great look. And then you can see that big earnings spike yesterday in the pre-market, gapping up quite aggressively there. I didn't have eyes on this, but yeah, shout out to you, Virgo. Good look for T-Mobile US. Bob's looking at Nvidia as well. And Ponzi Fonzie, well, he's trying to duel you up, Big Spile. So get him. Benton C says snow, 52-week low. Not you, Snow. Why? What happened to Snow? Did they get breached? They get hacked? 121.60. Yeah, wow. Did not see that. Let's look at this daily chart. Ooh, that level gave way quite aggressively. There was a $120 defend there that had been in place essentially since May of 2022. So yeah, that's given way. Yeah, good call, Benton. Did not have eyes on that. What a retracement from Snow. From the highs that we put in March, how much lower are we now from that? Yeah, we're about 47% and change lower. Let's see how Pandub's doing on the day. That I get rinsed on that one? Let's see. Yeah, that lost about $11.63 off the high. So that Pandub not faring much better, as everything really in trouble today. Cloud computing, IT security, everything really in Redsville. Let's bring in the watch list, see what's not red right now. Start from the top. As you can see, everything is red. Carvana's still up on the day. Let's move down the list over here. Yeah, everything's still very, very negative. There's pharma and biotech, save and except for Micron, or Moderna in Greensville. What else? How about solar? A couple of mixed names. Nova's up 17.5%. All right, that's interesting there. They might have been an earnings winner. I know you guys were talking about Sunrun in the chat today, and I did see a couple of headlines on Sunrun.
Did Sunrun? Did it run?
It did. Well, it's up on the day a little bit here, up 1.14%. Certainly nothing like Nova. It's up 16 2/3 right now. So interesting look for Solar stock. Shout out to the OP. He is the one. He is the Canobadare. What are you looking
Yeah, if there's any solar stocks or otherwise you want to look at, get in that chat and make your voice heard. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers are fancy. Maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's Sunrun, maybe it's Nova. I don't know, guys. Get involved. Get in that chat. We love audience participation here at Trader TV Live. Just make sure your voice is heard and make sure your vote is shared. This segment is brought to you by our lovely sponsors at Real Trading. Also, Tesla, I took that short there, 218. Like I said, when we rejected the 30 level, I liked it. Got 30 pennies in the money, 2/3 of the position, ended up getting out the final third when we broke back above 50, so it's all good there. Tesla trying to curl higher, though. I should have been involved in this because I saw us going from resistance to support at the 218.30s, and I was like, no, Tara, wait. But I don't know. We're trying to curl back up here on the SPY and the Qs, and certainly here on T to the S, the L to the A. If I see another 219 test and bounce, I will be interested in that. SPY, I'm just going to have to stay away from for the rest of the day because I feel like I had some good reason that earlier. I did have that 85 penny cent trade on SPY. That was fun earlier, but I'm red on it now. Again, I usually do hide my P&L just because I feel like I make better trading decisions when I'm not looking at it, but I just looked at it now at the end of the day. I am red on the SPY, red on Tesla, but I'm green on Meta, CrowdStrike, Amazon, and Apple. But anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I think with the SPY, I was getting a little too reliant on my whole dollar levels. And instead of getting the breakdown, getting it as a breakdown of retest, I was getting it as it already retested here, right? So it's like at this point, I'm getting involved when we formed a bottoming tail candle. So basically, I need to think about my strategy. Again, aggressive journaling is in fact to be had as always. Shout out to Freddie, the friendly guy who's getting excited there about Nvidia and its little bounce there. I saw, here we go, come on Nvidia, one more candle, get above the 9 SMA. I've got the 9 EMA here, so we can pull this up. We're trying. I will say though that is a pretty nasty, little bottoming wicket or topping tail candle here at 109s, coming into confluence with not only the 9 EMA but also that previous level of support. Got to say this does not look optimal for Nvidia right now, so we're gonna have to wait and see what this one does. I know I said stay away from the SPY, but now it's giving me the whole dollar level I like. We'll be cautious, we'll be patient. If I do get involved, I'll be taking small size, but it's interesting as the rest of this market continues to fall lower. Tesla's like, what do you mean we're falling back down? I'm still bouncing off my 218.30s, and I'm like, I'm happy for you, Tesla. I appreciate it. I respect that bounce. And if you want to keep bouncing, I will go long. That being said, if you break below 219, I will short you. So it's up to you, TSLA. I'll take you whatever direction you'll have me. I'd be pleased as punch. Meta, which again, I had the one trade on and then did not get my whole position filled, is still below the 9 EMA. I don't want to rush into a trade on this. I had the trade earlier that went well, that I felt really good about. And I want to shout out again a new view. Thank you very much again for shouting this stock out in this Meta 500. But now, Meta continuing to curl at the 9 EMA. We do have bottoming tail candles, though, and decent looking support on around that 493 level on the 5 minutes. So I'll be cautious, but it's on my mind. Let's see what this market does. What a fun day we've had here, Sharif.
Oh, yeah.
These markets have been crazy. The market's been wild. You have 1 minute left to vote for your ticker.
Oh, yeah.
Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you like. Moderna, are you trying to curl up now, too? Down a cool 20%? And your spread's only 2 cents now, Moderna? And if you give me something I like, I will go long. I will take you off that 90 EMA bounce because you are SSR. So I will stop talking now. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at AMWL. Just showed up on my scanner. Looks like a small cap gapper. I'm just going to put the ticker in for you guys. Let me give you the deets on this one super quick. Here it is. $170 million market cap. The shares traded on the day. Quite suspicious, about 566,000. Be careful with this one. The profile, the float is large, 240 million shares. Let's bring down trade ideas and find out AMWL, what the short float is there, AMWL. 3.68%, not huge, but this one did get really going there right at 930. It's been up and to the right. Really, this one is a harder one to trade because it's not respecting the moving averages. So for me to get in on a retracement would be tough because there's no specific area. Let's look at the 1 minute, see if there's more respect there. Yeah, no. When you look at the 1 minute, this is not tradable. Sorry, I mentioned this because it looks a lot better on the 5 minute, but the 1 minute showing how sparsely it's being traded. The levels are good in the sense that you're putting in higher highs and higher lows, but when you see candle distribution like this, you should know that that's a light trade there. And yeah, that's not really the look. So keep an eye. I would say on the Mag 7, that's where all the bleeding is and a lot of the price action is. Let's have a look at the soft one because this one is continuing to bleed down. We were short softy at 418 and change there. Sorry, 418 and a third. We covered there at 417 and a third. But look at this. That was nothing, Adara, because it gave us the 413.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, $4 lower than where it was at the time. All sorts of weakness right now on MSFT coming into that 413. That is the low of the day right now, 413.09. Not a bit to be had on any of them. We're at 18.9 now on the future. Do we defend that level? We know, we talked about this, 18.7, an important area to keep your eye on based on yesterday's price action. Bleed more, says Mr. Jonathan. He wants more blood. Give the man more blood. He is vampiring up a storm today. Shout out to him. Bryce, look for ES at 54.32. Let's have a look and see what Bryce is talking about there. The ES at 50, I believe he said 432. Let's load up the ES September contract and look at that. Here we go. Let's load up the September contract. 53.42. We got to zoom out definitely to get a better look at that. Here's the 4 hour, 53.40. Whoa, we got to breach 54.25. I need to breach this level first, but 53.42. This will be around right here. What are you seeing there, Bryce? Nice consolidation area here, I guess, but it did breach that level. Yeah, let me know what you're looking at there because it doesn't really stand out to me as a level. But yeah, we're still at the 200, and we keep bouncing off the 200 on the 4 hour here on the ES. That's interesting, and that's been in place since basically the 24th. The 24th and 25th, we bounce off the 200 on the 4. Again on the 30th, and it looks like we're doing it again today. So interesting. ES finding support at the 200 exponential moving average on the 4 hour time frame. Not one that I typically use anyway. Keep an eye on that. Softy finding support at 413. Lucky number 13 coming in well here for Softy as it moves up about $1.50. But if you asked me, this is likely a dead cat bounce, as all these bounces today on the Mag 7 name, without exception, have all been dead cat bounces because they all printed lower lows and lower highs somewhere in the day. Apple's right back at that 10 exponential. You're getting Tesla right back at that 10 exponential. So is Nvidia. But there is not a newer high to be had. Adara, tell us all about that trade.
I took that Tesla 219.50 bounce. Why did I take that Tesla 219.50 bounce? You guys know how I've been talking about those 30 penny levels on Tesla. I see 219.30 come in. I say, Adara, if we get a bounce off 219.50 that you trust, that you like, you risk it into the book. You see what we do at 219.30. If we're breaking it to 219.30, you get out. To me, risking 20 pennies, it made sense as a trade. I get involved here. We get to the 219.30 a couple times. You bounce every time. I say, Dara, chill. Stay in this trade. I had a pretty small position, and I wasn't even planning on adding here, honestly. The plan for this trade initially was to see what we did as we get to 220s. But you guys know, today I'm embracing the jazz piano type vibe to my trading, where you have a roots plan, but you're ready, if the music changes, if someone decides to, get a little bit of a bongo in there, a different drum, a horn, you have to be able to trade with that song as that tune changes. And for me, the tune on Tesla was showing massive support at that 219.50. So I added 219.63s, took out half the position at 88,
Nice.
took the rest of the position out just above 220s. Now we're at 220.50 on Tesla. Happy I still was able to use the scalping and be a little bit more confident with my trade. I love this market. Thank you so much, Charlie Taff. I appreciate the shout out there. Really, I'm just trying to learn every single day. Today, I feel like I've been a lot more confident, even though this market's giving you a lot of wild, woolly action. Maybe even because this market's giving you wild, woolly action. Shout out to Sean. Hi, Sean. But I think, yesterday I got shut down, but I did not get shut out of these markets. You got to go prove yourself every single day.
Bang.
5 minutes left. Wow, guys, this has been such a day. Thank you, Elon. I appreciate the kind words in this chat. Chill Vibe saying not trusting the long right now. Yeah. I don't blame you because some things are coming into key areas here. We have Tesla gone above that 220 now, a little bit skittish. Nvidia. I know Freddie the Friendly Guy was looking at this. We get to the 9 EMA, but now we're rejecting. And as I said earlier, we have massive confluence, in my opinion, with this 9 EMA. We're now kind of chopping and turning. We also had a couple rejection wicks there earlier, so we're going to have to wait and see what we do here at NVIDIA. Will support and resistance flip and flop? We're going to have to find out, but I think we're at some key areas. Apple, shout out to you, Apple. Yeah, you were fun earlier. Apple above the 9 EMA, to be fair, but still legally lower highs, lower lows. So let's see what goes on there. Yeah, I mean, legally. I didn't even realize I said that. I've been told I say legally a little bit liberally, but why not? But I see you also think that Apple could be weak here.
Well, I just wet my beak on it for a small amount. I'm going to look to get out if it breaks 40. If we get that new high, besides I got to be off the desk in like 2 minutes here, so it's probably right that I get out if we dip down. And now we're break even. Actually, now we're in the money, so I'm just going to take it out here because I got to get up off the desk. So we'll take that for a 3-penny winner. Yes, so we're going to give the Katina Man more material to mock us with on the big desk there. So shout out to him. Yeah, we're just joking there, Sean. Yeah, exactly. So that's the look there. But in case you guys don't know, that new segment that we have, make sure to vote every day. It's too late now, but every day get your vote in. Around this time, Adair and I go on basically from 11 to 2 every day, and that's when you have your opportunity to vote. For when the big kahunas come on, because then they're going to be able to look at the trades as you want to talk about them. And the Katina Man says, here we go. I see another 10 exponential rejection on the NQ, and that usually means more lower lows and lower highs. 18.9 still holding, but for how long on the future? You see the red there. Oh, baby, everyone's calling a dead cat bounces. I couldn't disagree. It's been a dead cat bounce kind of day, Adara. What a day it's been. Tomorrow's Friday, obviously. I will not be here. It's going to be the
you will
He
not?
is the one.
Oh my God.
He is the Canoe.
Adobe reunion tour
I just have
tomorrow.
to make sure that it's okay with Brando. I haven't checked out with him, but Obi is ready to go.
Guys, we
for
get
tomorrow.
Obi on Amazon earnings day. What, did you just realize what you get, guys?
There you go.
Boy.
So then I'm definitely not
boy.
coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
Right? So I will see everybody, hopefully, fantastic on Monday. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Print up a storm. It's giving you a lot of opportunities to the short side.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sharif. Congrats on your trades. It's so nice to sit next to you here every single day. He will be gesticulating wildly on the green screen and talking there. But shout out to you. A couple of comments in the chat just making me laugh and making me happy because I love this community. So shout out to Freddie, the Friendly Guy, saying, thank you for a memorable, momentous day here. Great job. This will be one of those. Do you remember that day where everything crashed? Yeah, I don't disagree there. Shout out to you, Freddie, the Friendly Guy, being friendly. Casey saying day trading is like a box of chocolates. I do agree. You really never know what you're going to get. And that's, in my opinion, one of the things that I love the most about this this market. Urso saying that they're confident today. I'm really happy you were confident, Confidera, whatever you were. I hope it worked out for you. Apple trying to bounce off 218s. We got Tesla trying to bounce off 220s, but I would say the Apple bounce a little bit better looking for me than Tesla, though they're both around this 9 EMA. What an exciting day, guys. Is there anything else you want me to look at here as we head into this these last kind of few minutes before we get those green screen segments? What else are we looking at? Daniel Landis needs a Dara clap. I'll give you a clap. There we go. Not in a trade right now, but I can clap. I like that. Thank you guys so much for this community. I really appreciate this. I know I have been like so, high energy today, but it's because the market's been fun. Happy to say I'm up on the day, 0 loss from top. So this is, I'm really happy. Yesterday was a setback, but I'm happy when things go down, you got to get back on that saddle, keep on pushing, keep on grinding. What else do you have going on? SPY trying to climb back up here. Shout out to Darwin in the chat saying that, generally it just looks like a bit of a pullback for the SPY and the Qs on the daily charts. Wow, SPY. Oh my gosh. Look at this bottoming tail candle just whizzing up here above that 9 EMA. MMA. Yeah, thank you, Darwin. I appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words there. I think, like Sean said, you have to be honest when you're having a bad day. I told everybody about, I got shut down live in front of you guys in that SPY trade, but today you come back, and that's what's great. Like KC said, day trading is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, but hopefully that flavor is gonna be pretty sweet. And if you're here with Trader TV Live, we can give you that flavor as we get those new chocolates in the market every day. And as this analogy goes downhill, we're going to see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Sharif, green screen. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, they're locked and loaded. They're ready to look at the names as decided by you. So